This is Prophet Marcello Currents back at it. Great news. So, I've given my first offering to Vietnam. I'll be working with Vietnam. And I didn't know that currency, the value exchange between the USD and the Vietnam Dong was so good. I just now sent $494,038. $494,038. Almost $500,000. That just got sent. As Christians, I don't know why people ain't been talking about this. This is another level of giving right here. But I guess people been thinking about supporting their own American ministries. Something like that, you know what I mean? But to really capitalize on the offering is to send the offering to Christian countries all around the world. This is almost $500,000. $494,038 I just sent. $500,000 to Vietnam. I'm not playing. Now I'm working with Vietnam. So now I'm working with Vietnam. The war that America lost. And guess what? I already had one ministry called the River of Life Christian Church, and I probably still will work with them. Moving forward. But the reason why I gave to this ministry I gave to today in Vietnam, because it was in North Vietnam. North Vietnam is who won the war in Vietnam against the Americans. Who won the war was North Vietnam. So it was a war between North Vietnam and South Vietnam, if you don't know the history. And North Vietnam won the war to where the Americans was retreating and leaving Vietnam because they couldn't win the war. They couldn't win, that's the bottom line. They didn't beat the North Vietnamese people. That's the bottom line. They didn't beat North Vietnam. So what I did was I found a church in North Vietnam, the territory where the Americans were beaten. I found a church on the territory, on the grounds and soil in North Vietnam where the Americans were defeated. And I sent them almost $500,000 today. I sent them $494,000. 500,000 is $500,000. I sent them $494,038. You don't gotta worry about me, buddy. Listen, you play with me so much. You think God is gonna hold against me what I'm doing, buddy? I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect. Okay? I'm not a robot. You play with me, I will kill the first person that comes my way. That's where I'm at today. Forget yesterday. You need to think about today. Okay? So, that's my offering to Vietnam. For them to say I'm corrupt and their country marries children. Listen, but for you to think I'm corrupt and your country marries children by law, it's what we always dealt with as non-white enemies of America. Everybody's not an enemy of America. I am. This is what we've always dealt with as non-white enemies. They demonize us. They're looking for some kind of contradiction. That's their style. It's been like that for a very long time. It's been like that for a very long time. And I'm not a part of your community. I'm not a part of these people out here. I'm sending money to Vietnam, 500,000, almost 500,000. 5,000 and some change away from $500,000, right? That's what I just sent to Vietnam. I'm above your level and lane, buddy. That's all it is. You feel me rising above your lanes. You're not doing that. You're not sending money to Vietnam, where the Americans were defeated, proper-like. Yeah, I got with your enemies. I got with the people that beat you. I thought about it last night. I said, yeah, Vietnam. You know, I was looking at the map, you know, like a real general. I'm looking at the world view, the world map. And I'm looking at Cambodia. That's what I did. I was looking at Cambodia. Then I was looking at the Philippines. And I seen the Philippines was off to, as an island, off the mainland of Cambodia and Vietnam. Then I seen Vietnam in the middle between Cambodia and the Philippines. And I thought, what about Vietnam? What about giving an offering to Vietnam? Okay? And so, to my surprise, I had no resistance with finding non-denominational churches in Vietnam. So, with everything that I've been doing, adjusting to family issues and everything, I felt like the need to give another offering. You know, just to start, turn over a new leaf and move forward, you know, leaving the black community behind as well. It's just time to turn over a new leaf. You know, I make that very clear. I'm not with the African American collective community. I found people that's tougher than you and more professional. And if you thought I was going to do something for you, I never promised you that. I never promised that I would do something for the black community. You assume that. And no, it's not being a coward. It comes a point of what I said before. Getting the emotions out the way and getting to respect and loyalty. Okay? And you can't play both sides. You can't act like you're a referee and you're quick to judge me every situation. And you ain't none of y'all been in my shoes. Even the people that's dishing it out, they couldn't take this themselves. That's 7 out. Oh, you couldn't take it yourself. You couldn't take it yourself. So what you dishing out made me greater than you because you couldn't take it yourself. Oh, that's how I beat you. Well, I'm pretty sure you couldn't take all of this yourself. We're pretty sure about that. I'm pretty sure about that. So I don't deal with the collective African American community. I'm a Christian. That's all I gotta tell you. Anybody don't understand why I'm not with the worldly sinful black people that's in America, funky, having sex with each other wives and husbands and all kind of funky stuff. Everybody understand why I'm not with these sinfully sexual black people? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. You can't beat me, buddy. I've already won. That's because I've already won. So now I'm working with Vietnam. See, you want to be me, right? But you don't do what I do. And that's the part that makes me above you as a black community collectively, right? You won't ever do what I do. You won't ever be able to do the things that I do in the context that I do it. No, listen, it's not being arrogant. It's showing people that I'm paying prices that you will never pay. You will never do what I've done. And you will never go through what I go through and went through and defeated it in your lifetime. No, you ain't gonna do that. So I'm already greater than you. I'm not waiting to be. I already am, based on everything I've been through with you and with the Americans. Anybody disagree? Okay then. So there's no show here as far as not among competent men. Retarded people might got a little show going on. Because that's what comes to the territory of fame that the Americans have set up in this situation. You know, it's going to be retarded people thinking they can do all kind of crazy stuff and doing all kind of crazy stuff. We don't pay them no attention. That's what comes with fame, is retardation, retarded people. Okay, we ain't worried about that. We're talking about $494,038 sent to Vietnam. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about almost $500,000 sent to Vietnam. And just when you thought it was all over, or when I needed to depend totally on EBT, I'm making transactions over and over and over again without EBT. That's for the enemies downstairs, insinuating all that money coming from EBT. Not all of it. Not all of it. That $494,038. That $494,038 did not come from EBT. Oh, it's gonna automatically go to Vietnam. How you know it's another country when you're dealing with PayPal? That's for sure, right? Right. So that definitely is going to be converted into the Vietnam Dong, which is the official name for the currency. The Vietnam Dong, the money I sent, when it's converted into the Vietnam Dong, that's going to be $494,038. $494,038. You got that to worry about in the up and coming days. Well, up and coming minutes. Because once the transaction is made, it's made in the spirit. I told y'all, listen, buddy, I'm a grown man. I'm not going to play games. I do what real men do. I make tough choices. I make executive decisions. I make life-changing decisions that benefits me, not you. It benefits me first. That's why I had to cut off my mom. Now, I had to, because I gave her a fair chance to understand my position. Not saying people can't live without me. I'm not saying people can't live without me. I'm saying what my condition is for me to be in a relationship with somebody, or and have relations with a family member, when another family member they talking to is my enemy. I told my mom these conditions. I told mom these my conditions. I can't be with somebody in a relationship as far as family, right? And you're still talking to my enemy. It doesn't work like that, buddy. I'm sorry. That's the person I wouldn't trust. That's how you know I'm not playing games, buddy. If I was playing games, I would still be talking to somebody that's talking to him. I'm not talking to anybody that's talking to him. And I already let my dad know what the business is, so my dad is already aware of what all my brother did. He's now aware of it. So I can't talk to a person that's still talking to that person that started all these problems. See, my mom don't know. She cannot, and neither can she feel the full capacity of what he's done. Now, imagine me still talking to somebody that's talking to him. It don't matter who it is. Not even my mother. Nope. For my own safety. Some would say, if she's still talking to your brother that did all of this against you, it's not wise, even though it's your mother. So it's not me being corrupt. It's me doing what black people can't do. You let your black family drag you through the mud, and I don't. Enough is enough. Okay, you still talking to the person. I wrote my mom letters explaining everything when I couldn't talk to her by phone. And so during that distance, she read the letters. It's no excuse. That's how God is going to look at it. I told her everything that Tremaine did. He went to the Freemasons, he went to the secret societies, he went to black people, and I know that. And he went to the police, and I know that. Okay? She knew everything. It's no excuse. So because she knew everything, and she still chose to contact him and communicate with him, I gotta wash my hands. That shows me right there where you decide to be. That shows me right there. You decide to be loyal to him for whatever reason. Maybe because he looked like you. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Whatever it is, I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? This is what I gotta do. This ain't my first time moving on from my mother because of the same situation. About what, 8 years ago? About 8 years ago, the same thing. This year will make 8 years ago that I did the same thing, and I cut off that communication with my mom because I couldn't trust her with these Freemasons and these secret society people and all them people. I don't even know if she's with them. She might be. That's how smart I am. I'm not slipping. But it don't matter from a distance. It don't matter. All the psychological games they played didn't go through and it didn't work. Okay? So anything you think you got on me, you didn't. Okay? I'm aware. You think you got stuff. I don't think about family members sexually. I'm sorry to tell you. That's not something I do. Okay, so with that being said, I needed an offering in the ground. I needed an offering in the ground. I'm a real man. I can look at everything you've done, and I can look you in your face and know you did it. Okay? I'm a real man. I can look at all those things with celebrities and everything, and everywhere think you got me tied up, I can look at that as a spiritual doctor, and I don't have no problem. It ain't on my conscience at all. Because I understand the difference between me and you and what you thinking versus what I'm thinking. I'm well aware of that. You're not my equal, nor are you my rivals, because you got a whole pack of people. Because you got a pack of hot dogs out there, don't make you my rival. It's just a pack of hot dogs, buddy. You're not my rivals. You're lying to yourself. Show me what you've done to rival me. What have you done that you can rival me? See, you thought you would betray me, but you can't betray somebody that was never in your heart. You was never in my heart, so how you betray me? Half of these black people was never in my heart, so how you think you betrayed me? You ain't betrayed me. In order to betray me, you gotta be in my heart. That's my perspective. If it's a stranger acting crazy, I don't care nothing about them. So what? They ain't breaking my heart. And I don't feel betrayed. I really don't. When I really think about it, black people wasn't really that close to me all my life anyway. Not on a real serious level. I mean, I had some black people in my life, but just to be like this real embrace, nah. I just was 100 on my own. That don't mean I ain't got the funk and I ain't have it. You know what I'm saying? I got it, but I just stood on my own because of the ignorance, and many of you are like that. You got the funk on your own, which means you got black essence. You know what I'm saying? But you had to stand on your own because of you really never was embraced for whatever reason by black people. Some of us was not embraced, and that's the truth. So there's different levels of embrace for whatever reason. But the bottom line is, people get a little older. You don't only look at your family, you also look at how black people treated you. I wasn't really embraced by black people. Not really. I was used. I probably was used a lot of times. for my body or for whatever I had, that's even women and men. I was used for my body. But, a real embrace, nah, I don't think so. And how I know is because if I was really embraced, I would have made it. I wasn't really embraced. And New York is the test. All these black people up here, there were some people that was jealous of my potential, even up here. It ain't nothing but an advanced South. I know that. You can't make me crash out, buddy. I'm stronger than a felon in prison. I got the head of a felon in prison, buddy. Check yourself, sucker. You ain't gonna ever make me crash out off this little okie doke stuff you're doing. You flattering yourself because you're not able to do it. You ain't able to do that. I can feel what you think you can do or what you're trying to do. Ain't gonna work, little buddy. That's how you know I'm the best. I called you in your whole position. I ain't in trouble. It just came a time, you might have heard of some politics that just recently came up that was already brewing, which was me talking to my mom about my brother and her not making a decision to move on. And so I had to make a decision to move on myself. And that's that, bro. And so, that's what it is. And so we just gonna get down to business and take care of these black folks. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no secret that they oppose me, so it's a war against them too. But we ain't gonna give them the whole full cameo, you know what I'm saying, that they want. They want that full cameo. They ain't gonna get it from me. You ain't gonna get it from me, buddy. You ain't worthy of it. You're too ignorant. You're too stupid. I know everything you're doing. Now imagine me giving ignorant, stupid black people a full cameo and you don't deserve it. All I've been through, you deserve to be in my ranks? Nope. I'm among white senseis and Asian senseis and Hispanic and Latino head honchos. You didn't make it as a black community. The reason why you didn't get a mafia, because you're not professional enough. Or you can pull money together and do it, but it's always second rate. Everything you do is second class. Can we admit that? Everything black people do is second class. Come on, you feel the same way. I'm just man enough to say it. Everything they do is second class, bro. Everything they do. They do a cookout, is second class. Birthday party, second class. Try to pull something together, family reunion, second class. Everything they do is second class, bro. Until white people come into the situation. And white people come into the situation in some form or fashion. I don't care who it is. They got other people working for them. Anytime you see them doing something, it ain't all black people. And you can feel the way you want to feel. I'm just keeping it. That ain't racism. That's addressing a whole different dynamic than race. I'm talking about professionalism. And you so shell-shocked from racism, you can't get corrected and receive the proper position that you're really in and let people call you out for who you are. But you try to do the same thing. I could say it's racism what you doing. If we put it in the context of the same context of what you call racism, calling you out for being unprofessional, ghetto, ratchet, that's not racism. That's criticism. And guess what? Black people, you know, you are not above criticism. No, you're not. You're not above criticism. You ain't above no criticism. Oh, you that good for what? Not for me, for nothing. For me. I got good family that's with me. Besides my other side, my mom's side, I don't need that no more. Okay? And I'm not brokenhearted, bro, because like I said, I've been in this position before. See, people don't know that. They don't know my level of maturity. So you felt like when I had some problems with my mom, you thought it was, this is our time to come in. Bro, I've been through it already 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Basically 8 years ago. Sorry. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I'm not depressed. Matter of fact, I just sent $494,000 and $38 to Vietnam, your worst enemy. And that means your African Americans, your worst enemy too. Well, you're here. Geographically, militarily speaking, because your nationality is American, your worst enemy, Vietnam. You know, I just ate a Vietnam dish for the first time in my life. I never ate Vietnamese food. And I finally had Vietnam food, which was great. It was great. They add an extra char on the food. They grill it good, and they add an extra char on the shrimp. Yeah. I've eaten Vietnam food. It's very good. That was just within a year. A little bit before my birthday month, right? So I'm doing good today. I just sent money out there. None of that is working. Everybody they got in this building, on these floors and all of that, that's why y'all suffering. I'm not ignorant to nothing, buddy. Witchcraft don't work on me. And they love to play little games of witchcraft. Guess what's going to happen? All that energy is backfiring on the United States of your country. That's for extra disrespect. Just to say it off crazy. To butcher it. I don't love you. Okay? And I'm not asking you to love me. So don't expect me to show any compassion or any empathy or apathy. Okay? It's over. I'm done with African Americans. It's a breath of fresh air when I say that. It wasn't nothing but hell and ghetto. That's all it was. Hell and ghetto. It was hell, roaches, and ghetto. That's all it was. Take it how you want to take it, buddy. You already know your position, so you can be retarded if you want to. You can do whatever you want. And then sell out. It's what a soldier does to adjust. And I'm just the first face of somebody who's done this. So you don't know how to comprehend it. I'm just the first face that turned my back on them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still 100. You know, so I'm just the first face. Welcome to the first face to turn his back on African Americans. And it was justified. I beat them. I beat them in everything they doing right now. I'm beating them at hoodoo and voodoo and anything else, and obia and all that other kind of witchcraft you got. I'm beating you at everything you're doing. Okay? I got gold already. If this was the Olympics, I already got gold. You don't get to win one day. You don't win one day. I win now. Retarded, man. I win now. I'm taking my wins now. You looking to win someday. See the difference between me and you? I guess in the middle of your lane versus my lane, you forgot my lane is the winning lane. I'm winning today. Oh, I'm not waiting to win like you. I'm not waiting for somebody to get suicidal like you. You're already suicidal. That's 7 hours. You already suicidal. Oh, look at it for what it is. That's what you're waiting for. I ain't gonna ever be suicidal. I've never been suicidal a day in my life. God knows that. It ain't gonna ever happen. I'm built like that, buddy. Some people ain't. Some people suicidal. I can show you rappers that were suicidal. All of them. But you say they thoroughbreds. Well, I didn't fold, and I ain't never think about killing myself. I ain't never thought about it. Other people that have, hey, I don't judge you, but I ain't never thought about killing myself. It ain't cute. Some people think it's halfway cute. You know, feeling sorry for themselves, halfway wanting to kill themselves. I ain't never thought about it. See, I'm just cut from a different cloth, man. That's all it is. Ain't no sellout. No, it's the progression of two empires, the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. That's what's really going on. That's all it is. And they can act like they're they represent what's African. They can have it. I don't care. I'm not hung up on it. But I really know the truth, which is I'm a righteous African. I'm not against Africans. I'm not against good African people. I can't resist love and good people. But that don't mean I'm all over here with everybody. No. Because, see, the difference between you and I is they have caused a great offense that you are not aware of the full capacity of that offense. No, hold up. If you're not aware of the full capacity or measure or how big the offense is, right? Then you assume that I'm tripping and that's black people and I should just let it go. Nah, you don't know how much they've done. And see, that's why it's going my way and it's not going anybody else's way. You know why? Because all these people that you talking about, you don't know how much they done. And that's it. You don't know the full measure of what they've done. And I do. I got a good estimate of the full measure of what they've done. And they deserve me to turn my back. And they know that. Okay, so that's based on, they ain't got nothing to do with racism. I'm just playing a position that you ain't seen a black man play that they thought was going to kill me. They thought ain't no way I was going to outlive the position. And I did. I outlived their hate and rejection. That's 7 out. Yeah, and now you're looking at a black man that outlived rejection from black people. That's all it was. And you ain't seen it before. It's like seeing a ghost. It's like seeing a ghost for you. You ain't seen no man outlive it. I'm always ready. I'm always good and ready. Remember, I got fury from all this that I've been through. Try me if you want to. I'm always ready. See, as you can imagine, somebody that's going through this day by day is ready. Trained for drama, ready for drama, ain't surprised by drama. Why would I be surprised? Going through this all the time and knowing what I'm going through, why would I be surprised? Okay? I'm not surprised by nothing at this point. I'm not surprised by betrayal. I'm not surprised by these ignorant, funky black people. I'm not surprised by nothing. And I ain't showing no love. I don't care about them. Okay? And that's what it is. If you think I don't got a Christian spirit, I'm at war. I'm at war with these people. Okay? Something you wouldn't understand, I guess. You ain't out here in these real wars. Okay? So it's just what it is. Except here's the better situation. I don't gotta sing songs and think about all these black people anyway, because I really don't want to halfway think about them. I don't have to halfway think about you and nothing. Because you know what? It's a bigger war going on than you. It's a war between these other Americans that's not only African, these white people. Oh, they helped you. They helped you. They helped you. White people helped you, didn't they? Okay, so then they get thrown in the pot too, buddy. It's what it is. Okay? So I'm not focused on you. I know you want your cameo. See, that's why you ain't gonna win. You know why? Because I ain't focused on you enough for anybody to be really, truly offended. No. I'm focused on everybody who got involved, and I see the bigger picture. So guess what that means? I'm focused on America. I just wanted you to know that officially the ties are broken. You ain't got to do nothing for me, buddy. I'll find my way. It's that simple. Because I ain't kissing nobody butt. Whether it's this housing, I ain't kissing no black butt for this housing. I ain't kissing no Hispanic or Latino butt for this housing. It's that simple. And I'm not subject to this situation. I'm a wild man. You understand me? That's real. which means, listen, buddy, whatever you own, this whole function of this building, I don't care nothing about it. That's what a real one gonna tell you. I don't care nothing about what's going on here. I can leave today. You know you know what I mean? I listen. You'll get violated today up in here. I'm not subject to your rules. You don't gotta believe it. You don't gotta believe it. You don't gotta believe it. I'm not a teenager where you gotta believe it. I'm just showing you. I'm telling you where I'm at with mine. This is where I'm at. You don't gotta believe it. I got numbers for people to believe. That's the beautiful thing about being active, really doing something productive. You know, at the end of the day, I produce numbers. That's important. Like $494,038. $494,038 sent to Vietnam. Get ready for it, bro. I'm doing I'm playing my position. And I take what come with it, buddy. I've been like this. You just now taking it. You taking notice now, ain't you? You paying attention now, ain't you? You paying attention now. Yeah, got your attention. That's right. That's what a real one gonna do. I'm gonna get your attention. While you acting like I'm a lame and fake, I got your full attention. Tell me I don't. And I ain't even looking for it. I don't care about nobody's attention. I'm not one of them type of people. I'm not an attention whore. I'm not a whore for attention. Some people are hoes for the attention. You know, they a hoe for attention. You know, I'm not a hoe for attention. Call them attention whores. They're a whore for attention. I'm not. You know, I don't care about the attention. I don't care about it. I don't care. I ignore that. Just like a real one gonna do. I'm gonna ignore that and stick to being productive in what I do. And they can jock me all they want. That's their position. You jocking me, it ain't my fault. I ain't manipulate you to jock me. I ain't manipulate you to jock me. I ain't tell you I was gonna do anything for you either. Now I can see if I promised black people I would do this, and I said I was some type of Messiah. I ain't never said no foolishness like that. There's one Messiah, Jesus Christ. Yeshua HaMashiach. That's the Messiah. I'm a human being, his servant, not a Messiah. So let's kill the foolishness. Let's kill the cartoons. Because I ain't never said I was a Messiah. I ain't never said I was a king. Out of all my talking, I talk about numbers. That's all I talk about. I don't claim to be no king, even though I rule. I rule because of the truth. It's a difference between being a ruler and a king. Yeah. I rule, but there's no throne. If I was a king, I would have a throne. Boom. So you think I be just saying stuff. You think I'm just saying stuff. If I was a king, I would have support. I wouldn't even be in no ignorant situation like this. This is ignorance. I already won. I don't know why these people they in my face. Downstairs, the whole staff, the whole building. I don't know why they in my face. I won. That's how you treat that's why you treat these suckers. I won. I don't know why you even in my face. That's how you treat them. You don't treat them like they got something to prove. You don't treat them like they gonna beat you and they can't. Yeah, I gotta be the one to do that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's how you know I ain't got no support. Well, I'm the one gotta do that. I'm obviously. You should have set them down. You should have set them people down. You ain't what? I don't care if this New York. So what? This New York don't mean nothing to me. It's just people, and I'm 100, and I'm 100 with anybody. You can try to intimidate, psychological games. Bottom line, God is with me. Y'all didn't know about child marriage laws. You can go find all these dudes sitting out on stoops in New York, and they ain't know nothing about this stuff. That's how I beat all of that. I don't care about none of them theatrics. I don't care about none of them people posted up and what they doing posted up. And that covers it. And I don't care who they are and how they carry themselves and what they do. They didn't do. I'm gonna tell you what they didn't do. They didn't talk about child marriage in New York City. They didn't talk about that. And that is how I rule over you. Being that you made all this hoopla about children, all corny and everything, lame with it too. Made all these lame hoopla about children, and find out that they marrying children right here in New York. You lame, bro. Lame to the game. I don't care nothing about you. I don't care nothing about these black people sitting out on stoops talking about child molesters, but you ain't know nothing about child marriage. That's facts. You can't shimmy out of it. You can't percolate and gyrate out of that. Cause you black, you here in America, right? Well, how come you ain't know about it? How come black people didn't know about it? Jay-Z didn't know about it. Jay-Z didn't know about it. Okay, none of them hustlers in your community didn't know about it. None of these gangsters didn't know about it. Okay, so then you forced to create a lane based off this. See, when I first received this information, I didn't know what I had. But with time, I realized this information puts me above everybody. That's the truth. Ain't nothing you can say. Ain't none of them people out there. Ain't none of them people out there that you talk about knew anything about this. That put me above your whole community. We ain't trying to hear no psychological games and what you think about me. We ain't trying to hear none of it. None of it. Okay? None of it. This ain't the Apollo where you can shoot me down with the clown. Ooh, he made a mistake. I am. I know what I've done. I'm energy proof, buddy. It's called a hedge of protection. Sucker. What you think this is an Apollo? That's how we know you're black. Bring out the clown. You can't bring out no clown on me, buddy. You clown. That's what you are. That's why you sounded sirens like you at the Apollo. And I know I'm energy proof. And ain't none of that getting through. Insensitive as I proceed forward. I'm a whole different fighting style than what you're used to, buddy. Even my intellect, my words, how I voice it. Black people can't win this time, buddy. And white people can't win this time. Which means how the mistakes that Tupac made, kept pleading to the people. When these ain't nothing but niggas. That's the truth. You pleading to niggas and niggas ain't gonna change. But Tupac act like he couldn't wrap his mind around it. That's the difference between me and him. Tupac sit up and cried, pleaded with the this and that and that's and people almost thought like I sound like Pac, right? With all the situations and everything going through. The difference is I wrapped my mind around it and realized that's not my competition. They're not my rivals. They're not my equals. Because it's not by ethnicity, it's by my works. You're not in God's kingdom. I don't care about millions of dollars if it's not in God's kingdom. It's nothing. I talked about child marriage and none of these people with millions of dollars talked about it. It does matter that much. It's worth millions and billions of dollars, what I'm talking about. Oh, right or wrong. Okay, so the information is more valuable than billions of dollars, right? So ain't no need to talk about money when we understand this. You playing yourself. Talking about your money and your power and your fame when this information is greater than money. And that's where I'm at, and that's how I'm living. You understand me? And that's my lane, okay? Not the next man lane. They didn't tell you to the full capacity about child marriage. The bottom line is, y'all didn't know about it until I came on the scene. So it ain't no need to be corny and try to bring up somebody else. They ain't successfully get the community to know what was going on. And guess what? Here's the punchline. They did not stop the Americans from passing new child marriage laws July 1st, 2019. Just 6 years ago. So, Why bring up somebody who was talking about it and it's still going on after they said something? If you show me something earlier than 2019, it ain't no need to, because even while they was talking, they was still passing new child marriage laws. They was still passing it. Okay then, so ain't no need to show me somebody talking about it before that time, because they was not successful. I was successful with getting people to see that this country is marrying children. People still didn't even know. Jay-Z didn't know about this. And all these older rappers didn't know. Big Daddy Kane didn't know nothing about child marriage, did he? Big Daddy Kane didn't know nothing, a thing about no child marriage, marrying no children in America. So he can give the rulership to Jay-Z, but Jay-Z don't rule over me. Am I talking a foreign language? And am I talking some people, it's hard for people to understand? Okay then, this is real life. I'm not talking cartoons, buddy. They're talking about psychological stuff. I'm talking about real life. That's all they talk about, psychological stuff. I don't care nothing about that stuff. I'm talking about real life. People marrying children and talking about pedophiles in the whole country. I rule. I came out talking about it. How can I not ascend above you? By truth, I ascend above you. The truth that I revealed, that your country was marrying children and you played with my life. That makes me rule automatically. That's the logistics of why I rule. Soon as you came out talking about child molesters, right? Okay, you find out that the one that you was talking about in these ignorant nigga circles, I'm the one that told the whole community. And even the Russians know about child marriage because of me. I told the Russians that y'all marry children. How I can't rule? How I do not rule? Russians didn't even know you was doing it. When I told them wow emojis from the Russians giving me wow emojis on my post when I showed them that you was marrying children. And you can't say I'm out of pocket. You was doing the same thing. You was going to the community to talk about the same thing. So you can't act like I'm some off energy or some corny energy. You was just doing the same thing. And still trying to do it. That's all, man, that's all I'm saying, bro. Like, listen, man, listen, you the one that's fake. You the one that's counterfeit. Well, counterfeit to our real world. That's all we care about. I don't care nothing about that witchcraft. I care about the real world. Y'all counterfeits in our real world when y'all didn't know nothing about the country marrying children. But you came out here talking about pedophiles. That's a counterfeit, buddy. All day. All day. All day. And ain't nothing black about you that's gonna change that. Remind you, we see black get stepped on all the time, just in case you think it can't happen. Your own people step on you. The white people step on you. So if you got that S on your chest, listen, buddy, it's gonna get scratched off very easily. This is what happened to black people. They forget they get stepped on all the time. You crash out all the time. Okay, that's good. That's good for thought. Why people act like they so bad as a black person, at the same time they crash out all the time. So what you gonna think as a warrior? Well, they crash out all the time. This ain't gonna be too hard. I'm just keeping it 100. They crashing out all the time. Why would you think they're invincible? You ain't think about that, did you? It ain't no sellout, man. It's just the other side, bro. That's what they call it. In the streets, they would call this the other side. You didn't think it was another side because you felt like everybody had to come over there. No disrespect, but that's why Kirk Franklin over there. That's why T.D. Jakes is over there. Because everybody feel like why you think they over there? It don't make sense if they Christians. Why they over there then? Because everybody feel like they gotta gravitate to that. That's what's black. That's what black is to them. And then the righteous has to stand over here and make a whole nother lane without them and without their help. Because ain't no way in the world you're gonna tell me Jesus will be over there. That sounds good on paper. Maybe thinking about Jesus ate with sinners. Yeah, but you can't take that to an extreme. You can't take it to an extreme, bro. That's taking it to the extreme. You all over there with them? That's not eating with them. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Listen, man. Some people so smart, they stupid. The Bible says, what communion does light have with darkness? How can two walk together lest they agree? You cannot walk with people if you don't agree with them. That's why we getting down to business. I catch a body if I need to. Hey, listen, that's where I'm at today. That's where I'm at. Oh, you don't gotta believe me. Let somebody run up on me. Listen. Ask what happened to the dude that bust through that door. Ask him what happened. No, you don't. No, I want you to go ask him what happened. Go ask him what happened and how he backed up out this door. Talking, throwing out threats, empty threats and I could have took his life. We don't pay attention. You're a roach. You're a roach. I could have took your life. While you throwing out empty threats like niggas do. And that's what I'm talking about. People ain't got no weapons on them, but they're throwing out empty threats just like niggas do. I'm sitting there with, listen, I could have took his life. And I told every manager that came in this room, I could have took that boy life. And I guarantee you the police wouldn't have said nothing, because this is considered an apartment. This is not considered the shelter room. If somebody passes over that threshold, I got legal right to take their life. Man, woman, or child. I don't have to ask any questions. If you come into this, over that threshold unauthorized, I have right to take your life. And that's that. And I can show the whole full circumstances of how it is in this building. And they gonna understand that. They gonna understand that all the way. So I wouldn't challenge me if I was you. I already made my name in this building. Oh, you don't know that yet? Oh, go ask around. Go ask the dude if you can find him. Wherever he at now. Probably bummed out in some other facility that you got. That's where he at. Go ask him. Anybody got his number? Go ask him what happened. I know one of these suckers in here got his number. Well, ask him what happened when he came into the room. Just in case you thought he was big and bad for breaking that door. Okay, boom. Go ask him what happened when he came in the door. That's how confident I am. He gonna try to trivialize it, but the truth is he backed up out this door. He was ready to come in here. He was ready to come in here. He put his hand through the door. He had put his hand through the door and unlocked my door. Ain't no way in the world now you know who I am. You can't play with me like that, bro. That was a temptation for me. That was a temptation for me to do you in. The devil was tempting me, buddy. You wasn't being tempted. It was me, buddy. Well, bro, I'm right there armed, right? You ain't. You feel like an idiot. He felt like an idiot. Boom, that's the punchline. I'm Johnny on the spot. I'm Johnny on the spot right there. If he would have made any false moves, bro, it would have been over with. What I'm gonna do? Listen, people live in fantasies like they can do stuff they can't do. Listen, what you think would have happened? Nobody would ever know. So all you would do is be painting your own narrative. All you do know is I was armed and he wasn't. Which means I could have took his life. And that's how you do it classy. That's how you do it classy, buddy. When people respect it. You understand? That's the difference. Without all the additives of being ratchet and all that other stuff. With all this all them additives. That's what I call it, additives. Additives like in food. All them additives. You know what I'm saying? All that rah-rah. This ain't rah-rah. This is politics. And real dudes know that. This ain't rah-rah. No. See, you a lame nigga. This is politics. Understand the difference? Okay, this ain't rah-rah. This is me expressing myself through street politics. Through American politics. This ain't rah-rah. Rah-rah is somebody come in this room and ain't got no weapon. Rah-rah is somebody busting through the door like he on The Shining, like he Jack Nicklaus on The Shining. Here's Johnny, right? Johnny ain't got no weapon, and I'm Johnny on the spot. That part. That's 7 Hour. Yeah. Johnny ain't got no weapon, and I'm Johnny on the spot. What you think he did? Backed up out of here, buddy. That's what he did. So imagine me having something to prove to lames in this building after that. That's what I'm trying to show you, bro. You're not built like that, bro. I just proved myself already. You sleeping on it, okay? Think it's a game like he did. Think it's a game like he did. And he backed up out of here. See, that's the difference between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. You all that rah-rah, all that talk, I'm right here, Johnny on the spot. That's all I'm saying. And ain't nothing you can say. He gonna try to trail off because he realized I'm a real one, talking about, oh, I just wanted to talk to you. Now, that's what he was saying. After I checked him, right? Now he talking about, oh, I just wanted to talk to you. Like me and him brothers. I ain't your homie. You don't talk to you. I ain't never talked to you in my life. I haven't. He asked me one thing about what was that? He asked me about a Wi-Fi. One time. I got a good memory. This dude asked me, this same dude talked to me one time about Wi-Fi in my life. That's all he asked me. I told him, yo, just go downstairs and ask if they got Wi-Fi for here. Right? That's the only time we interacted in everything. That's the only thing was said, nothing more. But you telling me you want to talk to me? While you all out my door, all out here, knocking on my door? Get yourself together, man. You ain't got your head on straight. I don't go knocking on doors I don't know. And see, you lived in New York, man. Listen, man, these people say they from New York. I'm surprised. Well, you should know you don't knock on nobody's door in New York. You don't know. I don't care where it's at. You don't knock on nobody's door. You expect them to be understandable. This is New York City. I had somebody. I was somewhat like them long time ago. Until I became more New York. I ain't lost my mind. You a weak nigga, and I know that. And I'm not. I check a nigga come up in the head. I check me one, and I already did. So you know, and I got the video to prove it. Oh, I got the video. And see what made me 100 is I ain't put it out. Oh, I could have put it on the internet. I could have put it on the internet how quick I was in position. I could have put the whole thing on the internet. I ain't even do it. That's 100. I could have put the whole thing on the internet how he came up in here like he had something to say. Like if you bust through my door and you put your hand through the door, you supposed to have something to say when you come in, bruh. Yeah, if you're in the real world. This dude stopped in his tracks like a dog. You ever seen a dog stop when he lift his leg up? He know he can't go no further. Cause he see something, he's scared or something. He lift his leg up, he ain't gonna go no further. That's how he did. He ain't stepped 3 steps into this door. If he would, I would have been triggered even more. I would have been triggered. If he would have came a little bit closer, 3 steps, who knows what I would have done. He backed up out of here, buddy. Oh yeah, and I got the video to prove it. I got the video this time to prove it. Cause I was doing a video just like I'm doing now. Dude knocking all on the doors and everything. I kept the video rolling. I ain't even tried to. I wasn't conscious of it. I was conscious of what was going on and talking and everything. The whole argument, everything is on the video. I got the whole thing. Now if I was a person that was all about fame and reputation, I would have put it on blast on the video. I almost did, right? And I thought about it, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put it, because I'm a Christian, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a real one, as you can see. Now, if I was fake, I would try to put it all up on the internet, showing people like how I checked this dude, and he came up out this room and everything he got checked. I could have put it on the internet. No, I ain't choose to do that. I chose not to do it. I saved it though. It was worth saving. I saved it and for myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's good records. That's good records, man. Cause you know, you don't let nobody try you like that, bro. If I close this door and you act like I'm your child, like you gonna just insist that you talk to me, I'm not one. Let's think about how that sound. That's what he did. He knocking on the door and then bust through the door, and then put his hand in. Man, anybody else would have just lost it from him messing up the door. Even though it ain't my door, most people would have just been triggered just from that happening to fight. And it ain't my door. I don't care about it. It ain't mine. It ain't mine. It ain't my property, buddy. You know? So, you know, it is what it is. But some people could have been triggered right then, bro, just from that happening. You know what I mean? Like, it looked worse than what it was. It ain't nothing but an old door it's so much heat in this room, that's what made it dry out. That door is dry from the heat in the room. That's all it is. That's why it's so easy to crack through, because it's dry from the heat. That's what it is. Coming through the door like an animal, man. And ain't built like that. Think about it, man. With all the places I've been, somebody bust through a door like that and put their hand through a door. What you think I'm gonna do? I'm on point, bro. Getting them out this room. That let you know what time it is. That's why I can keep showing you over and over again. I told y'all that. I told you. I ain't try to set that up. They came playing around me. I'm minding my business. And I backed it up. All my talking, I backed it up. And that's all I'm saying. And they didn't. He came in here like he was Tupac and backed up out this room, bro. And that's the bottom line. He tried to save face and say a little something, man. You trying to save face, bro. You know what weapons will do to you. Any type of weapon. If you was a street nigga, you gonna get up out of here, and you did get up out of here. You ain't gonna say what you scared of. He was telling me what kind of weapons he's scared of. It don't matter what kind of weapons you scared of. You know what this will do to you right about now. You gonna be Leroy Brown, looking like a jigsaw puzzle. Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole darn town, badder than you and me. That's how you know I ain't no youngin', buddy. Bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole darn town, badder than you and me. Yeah. You ain't listen. You ain't listen. You think you're American. You ain't American till you heard Leroy Brown. You ain't heard that happen. That's 7 out. Listen, bro. Listen, man. Listen. You gotta give a whole different level of respect for somebody to listen to Leroy Brown. That ain't hip hop. That ain't hip hop, buddy. And didn't find it from a rapper. That's me digging in the crates. That part. That's me just being a music lover, finding music like that. Leroy Brown. Thought he was so bad. Cut up like a jigsaw puzzle. That's how his story ended. What? He didn't get shot. He didn't get shot. It didn't say he got shot, did it? Did it say Leroy Brown got shot? Leroy Brown got stabbed up and slashed up, buddy. That's one thing about black people. They only scared of guns. You only scared of guns? Listen, I take caution with anything, a metal pole. Somebody can hit you in the head with a metal pole and cause internal bleeding on your brain. A real assassin can kill you with a metal pole. Boom, hit you in the head one time with the metal pole. You thinking it's all good. All of a sudden, you falling out. You fading to black. You fading to black, right? You die in a coma from internal bleeding on the brain. See, that's an assassin. I can tell you what's going to happen to you. You know what's going to happen to you? You're going to have trauma. Acute trauma. Right? Blunt trauma to the head. And that's not going to be a knot, right? That's going to be with a metal pole, just a metal pole. If I hit you with all my heart, with all my force, with a metal pole, you might just drop dead right there. But if not, you're going to have a fractured skull and internal bleeding on your brain. Internal bleeding in your skull. And don't keep hitting the person with it. It's over with. It's how you got beat to death. And a black black person be sitting right there looking stupid when you got a pole in your hand. A metal pole with a piece of metal, if I hit you in your head, that's gonna cause internal bleeding. I'm gonna hit you with all my might, right? Imagine that. Okay, and I'll let you play it as you, Leroy Brown. You can play it like that. You can play it like that. But remember, anytime y'all ever seen me with weapons and you didn't see what happened, you didn't know what was gonna happen. All you know is I was on point, right? Right. That's all, bro. And sometimes it works out good. Where it's mutual respect after a situation. Sometimes. But sometimes, listen, hey, a roach gonna be a roach, and you gonna walk away with the only one getting respect. I'm the only one got respect with this last New York situation. You know, I'm listen, bro. What more can I say, bro? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. What more can you say in a situation? We ain't gotta talk nothing about my spirituality. We ain't gotta talk. We can talk about what you want to talk about, and I can show you how I check these dudes, right? Yeah, we could talk about this part. We could talk about that and how they came up in here in this room, right? One-on-one, mano-a-mano, like I like it. And you see how he walked away? That's what I'm talking about, buddy. That tells you what level I'm on. You don't gotta say nothing else. You ain't gotta think nothing else. That's your problem. You think too much. Sitting up there overthinking. Ain't nothing else to think about. This dude checked somebody. That set the whole mood for the whole building. Cause I didn't care. I didn't pick on him because of nothing. I didn't care who it was out there. I told him not to knock on the door, and I closed the door. This dude pushed through the door. If I closed the door and locked the door, that was it. I was intending for it to be over. This dude bust through the door. That's why nobody can't say nothing. Even he can't say nothing. That's why he was trying to explain it after that. If he felt I wronged him, why he trying to explain himself? I was just trying to talk to you, man. Man, I ain't playing no games, bro. You bust through the door, then put your hand through the door. That's all. You don't gotta explain what you were trying to do. See, this is the result of traveling all around the country. You know, I'm 100 on a whole nother level, buddy. I'm nationwide. You see the difference between a nationwide nigga and a local nigga? I'm nationwide. We move way more. That's like a dude playing basketball everywhere. He gonna be a better basketball player. He play against California. He play against everywhere. LA, everywhere. He play against all these different places. He gonna be more 100. He gonna be more 100. You play locally with the New Yorkers. I play with all different fighting styles, all different psychological fighting styles, all this stuff. And ultimately, I'm gonna walk away with my respect. Even in LA, I walked away with my respect because when the police came to me in LA, they say, who is these people? I told them I couldn't tell them about certain people. I looked the police right in his face and said, I can't tell you that. And you know what that police did? This is different fighting styles. We talking about under pressure. You still really, you ain't say nothing about who anybody. And that's all that matters. See how I sum that up? Police asked me, oh, well, yeah, who is those people? I can't tell you that. Boom, just like that. Right? Just like that. When I left, the police said, all right, Marcello, call me by my name and everything. You know why? Because that cop respected me, buddy. How I held my head. I could have pointed out certain key people or people I thought, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. That wasn't my purpose. So you see, my purpose wasn't snitching. That's what I'm saying. If it was, I would have been trying to point people out and trying to bring up people. I didn't do that. I didn't try to point out nobody and try to even think about nobody. No, man, no, that's not my style. Nah, that's not my style. Now, if you a delinquent and I'm a Christian and you a delinquent, some of y'all need to be in jail because you think you 100 and you not. You not know. So then with a street dude or a person with street principles, you start problems. And you not 100. A dude think this is a domestic situation. Because if it was a street problem, I would have been triggered to think with street principles. But I'm not triggered to think that way. If you're not 100, I'm thinking this is more of a domestic situation where this ain't got nothing to do with street stuff. I don't feel none of that energy, which will be a trigger for us to think, okay, I'm sticking to street rules or whatever. But the bottom line is, man, for me, as far as I go, besides Bart Simpson level of what snitching is, I ain't never put nobody in prison. I ain't never put nobody in jail one day in their life. And that's all I gotta say. That's it. And many of us in our lives, we've had times to put people in jail, haven't we? I mean, especially when you're among street people. Right. But the bottom line is, whether the police were called or not, did you put somebody in jail? So then you can say you won by the skin of your teeth. Did you put somebody in jail? Okay, you didn't. Boom. That's it, buddy. We ain't gonna sit up and split. No, the technicality is, did he put somebody in jail? He didn't. He ain't followed through and put nobody in jail. I never done that. I ain't never followed through and put nobody in jail. Okay, boom. And that's that. Now, if you go through teenager theatrics and you want to split hairs, go ahead and knock yourself out. I'm gonna be a real man over here saying I ain't put nobody in jail, and that's all that matters. And I've had opportunities to more than one time, right? And I ain't put nobody in jail, bro. Matter of fact, I could have said something when the police came up here when the dude knocked through the door. I could have been standing at the threshold of the door. Yeah, he done knocked the door, through the door, forced entry. I ain't say nothing to the police. That part. I could have said he was communicating threats. He did. He talking about killing me. Yeah. And I'm the one armed. I'm the one armed. I got it on video. I could have showed the police what he said it on video. And it wasn't no lie to it. Man, that's how smart I am. I'm showing you I could have buried dudes. I could bury dudes with that. I wouldn't do it that way. I don't do it that way. I do it my way. And now I'm more thorough with that more than ever. Oh yeah, you ain't gonna never see me ever dealing with the cops because I don't respect them. That's the main foundational reason. They all out here in these politics, the Freemason police and everything, all out here in these politics, man. That's why I ain't got no respect for them. No, I don't got no respect for no American police. Police in a different country, they doing what they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta think about principle, okay? I mean, if there was no police, then the world would be in chaos, right? So you can't be a super thug where there's no, because you need police to protect your family. If it was total chaos, your family would be ran over. They would running the house, running over your kids, running over you. They running so fast, they run over everybody coming in the house. So you can't act like police as a concept, even as a criminal. This is how we grew up as real men, right? That part, that's 7 hour. And this describes the lane I'm in. You can't act like police don't supposed to exist in the world. Cause if you lose your aunt, just like that lady done lost her mama, okay, who you gonna have look for your mama? The police. I ain't talking about her, I'm talking about criminals. Criminals will sit up and act like, oh yeah, get the streets to look for my mama. You gonna call the police, sucker. You gonna call the police. You calling the police? Yeah, I want to file a missing report. They gonna tell you to come down to the precinct and file a missing report, and that's what you gonna do. You ain't gonna talk about I'm in the streets, I'm hustling. You gonna go right down to the precinct and file a missing person report. That's what you gonna do, sucker. Which means you still use the police for certain things. Now, if you was 100% street person, you wouldn't use them for nothing, even when you needed them. That's the streets. The streets is, not only do I not use them for snitching, I don't use them for my kids or my family. And ain't nobody down here like that. You ain't nobody here like that. And you got some animals like that. I mean, but I'm not. If I lose a family member, I'm calling the police. What else I'm gonna do? Try to do it myself? Come on, bro. You can't do that. The streets can't do that. They not sophisticated enough. The police gonna be your family member gonna be way across town somewhere. That's that part. They ain't gonna stay on the same side of town, sucker. So then your family gonna be way across town somewhere. You gonna need police to find them. So that shows you how I grew up. Now when I was a young nigga, it's F the police all day. I don't need them for nothing. I don't want to talk to them. Don't even look at me in my face. I used to be like that. Don't even look at me. That's how you, no, I ain't even look. What you looking at me for? Don't want nobody even think I'm talking. Me and you talking or something. And I still talk junk to the police. You know what I'm saying? If they wrong about something, I done it. Arrested me and I'm talking. Searching me twice and I think you're gay. You done searched me in more than the same spot more than one time. Now you raising red flags. What, you gay? I'm saying that to the police while I'm in their custody. No, I'm 100. And then guess what he gonna say after that? I know you ain't crazy. After I done said all of that. After they done pulled a weapon off of me. Because they can see the difference, bro. The police can see real dudes better than some of these street people. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Even when what I just said, I showed maturity. If you a person that's on the streets and you lose your family member, what you gonna do? Go to niggas? Niggas ain't gonna be able to find your mama. Niggas ain't gonna be able to find your family. That's if your cousin was out here. Even then, you still gonna call the police, bruh. You still gonna, so if you was 100 as you say, as you project yourself, then don't use the police for nothing. And you ain't gonna do that, buddy. None of us are not gonna do it. If you lose your family, you calling the police. Okay? Then if you was 100 and it's really F the police, if it really is F the police, then don't call them for nothing. Don't call them for nothing. See, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was one. I explained my situation tailor-made. That they played in my politics. That's why I don't like them. That part. And everybody know this. Okay, so then my hate is based off that. Not just this cookie cutter hate from a street dude. You know what I'm saying? And I can't see this person eye to eye, mano a mano. I can see you as a cop, as a man. I don't get blind by the badge. I don't get blind by the uniform. I'ma still talk to you as a man. And you gonna respect me. You understand? If you won't respect back. And that's the difference. That's the difference. That's the difference between these suckers. They try to act hard with the police and all this stuff. That's theatrics, man. You know, when you a kid, you like that. You become a grown man, you look these police in the face and tell them why you carrying weapons. I talked last time I was in jail, and last time I was in jail in Jamaica, I told them me and the police talking while I'm in jail. Yeah, you should carry weapons because we might not be able to get there. That's what the police told me. Me and him talking. That's how you know I'm 100. I'm talking to the police, but I ain't snitching. But I'm talking to him as a grown man. You see what I'm talking about? I'm that type of dude. Yeah, I need to carry a weapon. He gonna co-sign on that. The police co-signed on it. Oh yeah, you need to carry a weapon. That's what the police told me now. Maybe because you ain't getting no mutual respect and you got these delinquent attitudes, maybe you couldn't have a real 100 conversation with the police about you carrying a weapon. I have. So I'm on a whole different lane of respect with the police. I'm supposed to carry a weapon. They ain't gonna never deny that. It's too much going on. Police just want you to do it the right way. That's it. They gonna be all for you carrying a weapon. And they carrying a weapon themselves. Come on. And all the stuff they see. You think they gonna have a problem with you carrying a weapon? You ain't never think about it. A cop ain't got no problem with you arming yourself. Think about it. He ain't gonna say he got a problem. We so focused on drugs. He got a problem with drugs. He ain't got no problem with you arming yourself. he gonna be all on board for it. You just gotta get a registered guns. You gotta get registered guns. And follow the guidelines. If you got a blade in New York, you gotta have a 4-inch blade. Which most real assassins know, it only takes 3 inches to get to your heart. And I got another inch to get into your heart. All it takes is 3 inches to get in your heart. The heart is only 3 inches into the chest cavity. You would think it's maybe you never thought about it. Maybe you wasn't educated. I am, okay? The heart is only 3 inches into the chest cavity. If you have a 4-inch blade, this is what they thought about. You would still be able to kill somebody if you got to. Oh, what you thought the blade was for? Cutting them up? Slashing them up a little bit? You could put it through their heart and still have an inch left inside the heart, an inch in the heart, and move that around and hit that. That's over with, buddy. If you know what you're doing. If you get a dagger, you ain't got no pocket knife, you got a dagger. You get a 4-inch dagger, you can find them online. I'm pretty sure you can. Any inch you want. Because it's for different reasons. For different reasons. For times, for sport. People do it they want different inches for different type of sports and different things that they doing. For just odd stuff that they doing. You know what I'm saying? It could be magic shows. You know what I'm talking about. All kind of little stuff where they need a certain inch of blade. You can buy any inch of blade online. So you can get a 4-inch blade on a dagger. You can get a 4-inch dagger online. Okay? You can get a 4-inch dagger online. And that's all you need to really actually technically take somebody's life. You put 3 inches into the heart, to chest cavity, that's in their heart. Another inch is all the way in there. And they gonna die. You don't need no overkill. You know what I'm saying? You don't. You know what I'm saying? I know that too myself. I don't need overkill, you know what I'm saying? But in some situations, you know what I'm saying, a 4-inch blade, you might have a little scuffle before you are able to do that. And see, that's the punchline. Before you get to a chest cavity, what about the scuffle where the person is grabbing and you kicking and all of that? You need overkill with a blade in order to get that person off of you and also for that person to see a bigger threat. You know, they need to see a bigger threat. If they're going to keep coming at you, you got a 4-inch blade, they're going to laugh at you. Think about that. And then a big dude, think about if he's about 6'5", these big bouncers in New York. What you going to do with a 4-inch blade if you got a problem with a dude like that? All you can do is hit his stomach. You can hit his stomach. You keep hitting his stomach, he going to back up off of you. Oh yeah, you hit his stomach real good, he going to back up. But then he got the reach, the arms. How much you ain't gonna be able to get to that stomach easy as you think. Not as much as you need to. So you need overkill. If you look at every man, every size of man, I carry stuff for every size man. Not for a little boy. I carry stuff for bouncers. I done had somebody in the club, a bouncer, big dude, see me carrying a weapon. I forgot I had it on me. He pulled it. Oh, what's this? Oh, he's searching me. I forgot. I'm tipsy. He like, oh, well, you need to give me a little money. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's New York for you, though. That's my club story. I went into a little dance club in Queens, and the bouncer seen I had a blade on me, and I forgot about it. I would have stashed it. That's my style. I would have stashed it before. I wasn't conscious of somebody searching me. You know, I wasn't conscious of it. So a big bouncer, probably about 6'3", about 6'4", big dude, about 200 easy, about 200 pounds. He searched me. He was like, yeah. I was like, he was like, oh, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Give me a little something. You gotta work with my pocket. You gotta fix my pocket. Some way he put it like that. So I threw him $20. He was like, cool. He took it up. He wrapped it up. He wrapped the blade up. I got it when I left. That's a New York story. Some people say that's a cool New York story, but that was, you know what I'm saying? As far as how people are in the coach in the streets and all of that. But those things just happened. You know what I'm saying? He pulled it off of me, wrapped it up in a bag. When I came out, he gave him my blade back, everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's somebody that's a bouncer, big dude that can bouncer. Yeah. I don't know what y'all talking about, but that dude walking around with blades and everything. You know what I'm saying? Threw me some bread before he went in the club. Got some Henny when I got in there. I'm drinking Hennessy, everything, man. I had fun, you know what I'm saying? And it was cool. Dancing around, drinking Hennessy and stuff, you know what I'm saying? A cool Mexican bought me some Hennessy, you know what I'm saying? Cool dude. The right Mexican people show love, man. It's they sincere people. You know what I'm saying? Very sincere people, man. When you find the right crowd, you know what I'm saying? When you find the right crowd, they very sincere people. That I do know. But the young guys get caught up in all this Freemasonry and all of this Illuminati stuff. That's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is where is death before dishonor? Where's death before dishonor? Because if you know you came out here and y'all marrying children as a community, you're marrying children as a community. Where is death before dishonor? You're marrying children. Where is death before dishonor? That's what I'm saying. So then I'm supposed to rule. If you don't want to die, I rule. That's it, bro. It don't matter what you think about me. Death before dishonor is like, okay, you marrying children as Americans. The Mexicans find out, okay, that's death before dishonor, bro. That's what some Mexicans gonna say, no, y'all came out here like y'all was good. Y'all came out here like y'all didn't do none of that. Y'all came out here like John Wayne, like y'all ain't have no cares in the world about that kind of stuff. You came out here bold with your chest out, playing with this dude. Come find you slipping, marrying children. Nah, that's death before dishonor. So because you don't want to die, this man deserves to rule over you. And that's facts. And that's another example of why I rule and how it will be articulated. That's how it will be articulated and why. That's the reason. That's how it will be articulated. The reason why I will rule. That's how it will be articulated among Mexicans. Mexicans gonna tell you death before dishonor. Nope. Death before dishonor. We don't care nothing about that stuff you doing, that psychological stuff. Death before dishonor. And because you don't want to die, this man don't get tested no more. You don't test him no more. He's the reason why we know about y'all marrying children. Imagine him being tested. Imagine us testing him. That's niggas. We don't move like that. And once this man, I don't care what's on his mind. You know what's not on his mind? Marrying children is not on his mind. You know who mine is on? Your mind. Your mind. It's on your mind. You marry children. It's on. This man is not marrying no children. So until he do that, get the point, don't you? Until he do that, you worse than him. You're marrying children. That means you take the child all the way home. Death before dishonor. So guess what happened? When it's death before dishonor, you go instead of, because you're a coward and you don't want to die as Americans, the Mexicans will tell you, you got to give him a bag then. Oh yeah. You got to give him a bag. That's why he rules. He already rules. He rules, bro. Y'all marrying children. Y'all came out here and we know you didn't know about it because no Americans knew about it. So let's stop acting like, well, some people knew about it. Some people over here knew. No, let's stop all of that. Nobody thought this. That's what we really are as most average Americans. Most average Americans, nobody knew this. Okay? Not at all. Not at all. And maybe here in few you did, but not the average person. And guess what? You knowing about it ain't gonna change the fact that most of these people didn't know about it. And that's that, buddy. And guess what a Mexican gonna tell me? Oh yeah, well you rule instantaneously, bro. Because this became a whole, what makes you rule is it was a whole American effort. That's what make you rule. I can see if it was just niggas, right? But all these white people came in here playing with you too. All of that too. And all the Hispanic and Latinos playing with you too. All these people playing with you. Then we find out they marrying children. You rule, bro. That's why. If it had not been the whole country, then you could say, well, that was just New York. That was just the South, you know. That was just North Carolina. That was just Florida. Nah, it was the West Coast too. It was California. California, San Francisco, last time I went there. That's how I won this. And that officially makes me rule over you as a whole community from coast to coast. Oh yeah, buddy. I tell a Mexican that, oh yeah, you got that, buddy. You from coast to coast, that's a whole different culture. New York to California, they playing goofy games like that. All they did was pull you up to rule, buddy. You rule. This ain't no cartoon game. This ain't no Lego game. You rule. And I know that. Just thinking, that's how you know I'm confident. I know who I am. I know when I rule and when I'm winning. A Mexican gonna tell me, no, you rule, bro. We don't care nothing about that psychological stuff. We smart enough to know you could be thinking that. Or you could be fighting them trying to make us feel like you thinking that. Trying to make other people think you thinking stuff you ain't thinking. And the bottom line is, you ain't out here messing with these children, and that's what we gonna settle on right there, buddy. You could be thinking this stuff. We not stupid. But it's not enough with the equation of them marrying children, and you ain't doing nothing to no children out here. That's enough for us to let it go. And unfortunately for them, you rule over them. I don't care what the white boys talking about. You rule over this country with Donald Trump being in the White House the last time you passed child marriage laws. Donald Trump was the president. And he ain't say nothing about it, did he? Oh, you rule, bro. Come on. The president didn't even say nothing. The president didn't say nothing. The president didn't say nothing about that. He can't say nothing because you know why? You know why he can't say nothing? Because it forces America to look at the whole history of y'all marrying children. And he don't want y'all to see the whole history. Because once he tell you or address child marriage that happened under his administration, whether he helped pass it or not, we're not talking about whether he helped pass it or not. He probably didn't. He probably had nothing to do with it. But you still are an incompetent president for that to happen on your watch and you said nothing. And even during the Biden administration, you could have said something after that. The Biden administration happened. It happened during his presidency. And then after the Biden administration, during the Biden administration, he said nothing. He ain't say nothing about it. I'm not playing the who's the hardest. I got this right here. And you too retarded to see it. This ain't, you ain't getting past this. And if see you the type of person that respect information based on who's telling you. If Jay-Z was telling you this, y'all be sitting around crying and weeping in napkins. You be getting paper towels, crying in paper towels. You'll be sitting up crying in paper towels, talking about we marrying children. Can't you see black people now? We marrying children. Beyonce tell y'all marrying children. We marrying children. Beyonce said we marrying children, and you can look it up and see we marrying children. If Jay-Z or Beyonce told y'all was marrying children as a black community, y'all would have lost y'all mind. You would have lost your mind. You would have lost your mind. You would have lost your mind. All right? But when a black man that's a prophet that ain't with you tell you, oh, you sitting back skeptical. What is it to be skeptical of? This is it ain't nothing to be skeptical of. This is reality. Who I am as a person is irrelevant to the situation. It don't matter who I am. It don't matter who I am. We talking about what they doing. The main people out here talking about children. I'm not talking about it. I'm on the defense, but now on the offense talking about it. But I didn't come out here on anybody talking about some child molesters. I don't care. I really personally don't care about it. You know what I mean? I mean, you know. In the world, I can show you different various ages that people have sex with, so it ain't no certain age. Even down in Jamaica, they have sex with 16-year-old girls and boys. The age of consent right now in Jamaica is 16 years old. So they not bomber clots. They not Bamaclats. Why they ain't got the age of consent at 18? In Jamaica, the age of consent is 16 years old. They can have sex with 16-year-old girls and boys right now in Jamaica. That's a 7-hour. They can have sex with 16-year-old girls. That's what the prophet's supposed to do. You ain't nobody gonna stand before the prophet. You thought it was fake, didn't you? Until now. Where Jamaica, the island Jamaica, is having sex with 16-year-old girls and boys. Oh, you can go look. Go look up the age of consent in Jamaica. And you telling me something, human nature, nobody taking advantage of it? I bet they are. I bet they have. I bet they have, buddy. Huh? Oh yeah, it's real. That's for black people. They look at Jamaica and the Jamaicans as the righteous people, and the holy Mecca is Jamaica. Okay, well, why they ain't got the age of consent at 18 like the Dominican Republic? The Dominican Republic don't have a problem with it. It ain't that they don't understand the concept, is what I'm trying to show you. Like, they can't think, that's not a child. That's not an adult. They shouldn't be together. It's not that they can't think about the concept. That's what I'm trying to show you. They left it like that on purpose. If any country does it on purpose, is my point. Brazil got it at 14. You can have sex with 14-year-old girls in Brazil. So then with that being said, you know what I'm saying, I'm not out here talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I figured out that we don't really know based on the Bible. What's the age of consent based on the Bible? Show me in the Bible where the age of consent is 18, where you can't have sex with teenage girls. Show me in the Bible where you can't have sex with children. Show me in the Bible where the age of consent is 18. It's not common sense. God is a God of law. God addressed everything. God addressed everything, bro. God addressed having sex with family, uncles, aunts, and all of that. And ministration. Having sex with a woman on ministration. You don't think God gonna address a certain age? God addressed having sex with women while they're ministrating. Let's slow down. You don't think God will address the age that's appropriate for sex when he addressed the age of sex or the having sex during ministration? So God addresses ministration. So my point is this. If God had a problem with it, he would have said something. If God had a problem, everything he had a problem with, can we agree on that? Everything God had a problem with, he addressed it, right or wrong. He didn't leave it to our imagination like you would say common sense. God didn't leave it to common sense, did he? Because different people have different types of common sense, you could say. Okay, so God didn't leave it to common sense. Because men form their own form of common sense, as we know, right? Okay, so with that being said, everything that God wanted to address, he addressed, right? Okay, do you see the age of consent in the Bible? Do you see anywhere in the Bible where it says a woman must be 18 years old? That could be said. I can show you where it showed the ages of people all throughout the Bible. So it wasn't that it was the ancient times where ages was not thought about. Ages of people were thought about all throughout the Bible. Okay, so then when it comes to sex, why wouldn't the ages of girls be thought about if it wasn't and the ages of people were thought about in the Bible for different reasons? So for this reason, if God had a problem with it, he would have addressed the age that he wants people to have sex with. He didn't address it. He did not address it. You can't go find it. Go find it in the Bible. I can take correction. If you can find it. I didn't find it. I did not see it when I looked it up. I'll go do it again. But I ain't see no age of consent at 18. And I know that. I'm just smart enough to know, man, that how the Bible talks that men were with young women. And I know that. Young girls. right? Like maybe like 16. Yeah. Yeah. Some would say a girl is ready during menstruation scientifically. Well, that means she's ready. She's ready to produce. She got eggs and all the eggs are developed. You know what I mean? All of that is going right. What a scientist is going to tell you, technically, a girl is ready for sex at menstruation because she's ready to reproduce after menstruation, which is a sign that she's ready, which means the design of her body and her being ready tells us what age she is ready, and that is indicated by menstruation. Boom. That's 7 hours. So I can go by menstruation. But see what I'm saying? Different girls menstruate at different times. But the real truth of purpose with a female is menstruation as far as sexual intercourse, because once she's menstruating, now that's a signal for her. That's the token signal that she is ready to reproduce, which means she is ready for sexuality. Technically speaking, she could be ready to reproduce children once she's menstruating, right? Right. See, so you can't show me in the Bible. I'm just saying, this is why I'm telling you I'm not stuck on it. Because I can talk about it intelligently. Now you know I ain't a nut. Like they are talking, because at first they was talking about teenage girls and everything. They try to jazz it up and clean it up, man. Pay attention to a real one, man. They tried to jazz it up and clean it up. They with it now. But be smart and know why they with it, because they got a liability with it. They didn't know they was marrying children. They didn't know they was having sex with teenage girls, right? So before that, listen to this part very closely. Before that, they was out here insinuating all ages of children in the beginning when they investigated me. When the community investigated me, and how I know this, because you gang stalked with all ages of children, including teenage girls. Yes, you did. In fact, you told people in the country that I raped teenage girls. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You told people I raped teenage girls, which means you think teenage girls, the smart is, when you're smart, you know the insinuation is that shouldn't be even, you shouldn't even have sex with a teenage girl. Not just the rape part. You was insinuating all these teenage girls out here. You can go back and do the history. Now, people real before God. God knows they were before we realized they was marrying children in the ages of consent. Before that, with the old America where they thought they was doing everything right. With the old America where they thought they was doing everything right. They insinuated any children under 18 like the rest of us, because that's all that we thought. See the smart part? We all thought that, right? So why wouldn't they think it? You think that I ain't having sex with nobody under 17 as an American, right? But now they brought it into question. But before they brought it into question, what age was you thinking about for sex? You was thinking about only 18 and up, man. That's all you was thinking. When they start talking to you and showing you different things around the world, you begin to broaden your horizon. See, they grew through the situation and they don't want to admit it. They came out here talking about teenage girls and all of this. Now you're trying to insinuate children in Pampers. I ain't never been with no child in Pampers. I ain't never been thinking about no crazy stuff like that. They ain't got me on that. But see, they had to lower it on me, right? Because now people see with all around the world that people do have sex with children. So what you gonna do with this person that you call a pedophile? Make him seem like he like young of children. You see what I'm saying? Like children in diapers. Man, that's crazy. That's laughable. I'm laughing at you. Ain't nobody, man, come on. That's crazy. Especially if I got a child, I had a child myself. I put my child in diapers. See, when you grow to a certain level of manhood like I have, I brought a child into the world. I done been in the delivery room with my child, when my child was born, right? I've done what real men have done. I've seen my child come out of my wife's womb. You understand? Straight out the womb. I've seen it happen, which is one of the best days of my life. So I've been exposed to, by way of energy, something that half of these gay and lesbian people have not been exposed to. And that's the main ones talking. Okay, you ain't never seen a child born into the world out of your loins, out of your nutsack. You understand? Because children don't come from women, they come from men. Women have the eggs. Children come from the man's nuts. Okay then, so like you ain't never put no child in the world from your body. I have. I put a child in the world. Women might get pregnant. Men have children inside them. We have the children inside of us. Okay? That's the sperm. The sperm is the child. Okay? So I done brought a child into the world out of my body. Okay? And it doesn't matter what the situation, because that's how things get complicated. We talking about the technicality, right? Of me changing diapers, feeding my child. I've interacted with babies. Nothing ever would cross my mind or anything crazy like that. That's them having to still put me in the arena of a pedophile, because now y'all figured out that what people do all around the world, which is have sex with teenage girls and kids, right? Now you see that. So now you gotta see, so these mental people have to lower it down and make it seem like something that it ain't. You know what I'm saying? But pay attention to what the first insinuation was. That's what I want you to do, which was he having sex with teenage girls. That was even said. He having sex with girls and teenage girls. We wasn't talking about infants and kids in diapers. They were insinuating children. And the truth is, most people gonna tell you, a psychologist gonna tell you, most children gonna act out after being a toddler. A toddler is 1 year old to 3 years old. After 3 years old, a child comes out of diapers and start experimenting sexually. Whether you like it, listen, you're waiting to like information, which makes you an immature person. I'm showing you where it starts as a mature person. Okay? It starts after diapers. After the diapers, children start playing with themselves and playing with other children. That's usually what happens. Think about it, because before diapers, you can't play around a child sexually, right? There's no access. Soon as they take diapers off, what you think they're gonna be doing? That's the truth. They're gonna be touching on each other and experimenting with each other. Before the diapers, they couldn't do it. So the reality is, you have to accept that after toddler age, which is 1 through 3, not 1 through 6, a 6-year-old is not a toddler. A 5 years old and a 4-year-old is not a toddler. A toddler is 1 through 3. Now, if you've seen somebody playing around a toddler, even as a child, okay, I can see. But after a toddler age, I hate to tell you, it's even at 4 years old, it's a certain egg timer development that most people can't follow all the way through to 18. What happens? There's egg timer developments. Whether it seems like a small place in time, it's egg timer development, which something happens at them ages of times. That's why they say 1 through 3, not 1 through 12 is a toddler. You ain't a toddler from 1 through 12. You a toddler at Pacific time because it's egg timer developments. So if you have somebody that's playing around somebody after 3 years old, I have to say, man, that's when stuff happens. I don't want it to happen. And I'm not waiting to like the information of it happening. See, you want to like what you hear. You're not going to, anytime children act out sexually, you're not going to like the information at all. Come to terms with it at all, right? So don't wait to like the information. Wait to pass the right judgment on the information and walk away whether you like it or not. And that's how you do it, buddy. Because 1 through 3 is a toddler. After toddler, kids are out of diapers and doing whatever. They're doing all these different things. Okay? And that's basically what it is. Okay? And so, see, some of y'all don't supposed to be judges over this situation. So my point is, going down that rabbit hole is, I never came out here talking about what people do with children, because I know what all these men be doing all around the world. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have a certain age where we could say, okay, This definitely is the right age for sex. 18, you can't say that's what it is. Okay, you can be safe. Like I'm safe. I'm gonna be safe and just go with 18. That's me. I'm gonna just be safe and know this is an adult and ain't nothing can happen. You know what I'm saying? Because of these various different laws, it's not even just that. It's just my standard. But that's what's gonna make you make that standard initially is, I know this person is an adult, right? And that's that. I'm not gonna get any trouble, right? And then you go from there. But if it's under 18, anything can happen to you. Okay? Anything can happen to you. And you know, you could be locked up, and the family could have a problem with it. All kind of different stuff. You could get locked up if you're in the wrong city. You're in Florida, you can't have sex with 17-year-old girls like in New York. In New York, you can have sex with 17-year-old girls, right? You go to Florida and try to do the same thing as a New Yorker, not realizing, right? You'll get arrested. They're gonna expect you to know. And they'll say something as serious as that. You should be knowing what you're doing before you have sex with a girl, especially that young. You should know what's going on around you, buddy. That's how they gonna look at it. They ain't gonna take no excuses. Well, I didn't know. No, they gonna look at it like, bro, when it comes to sex, and then especially if you can produce kids with this female, you should be on point. If you going that low right there where you really don't know, right? Where we don't really know, a person that do what you do should be educated. That's what the police gonna tell you. You should be educated about the age of consent. If you dipping that low, you should take the time to go educate yourself. That's what I'm saying. So for me, I don't have these hang-ups, but these people want to act cool now, like it was you. You had these hang-ups with children. I just had to address it. And through it, I ruled over the community. Realistically, even with an 18-year-old girl, that's the technicality of sex, right? But compatibility, I'm not going to be most likely compatible with an 18-year-old woman. You know, I'm probably not. She don't know what life is all about. She hasn't lived long enough to be compatible with me. She hasn't lived long enough. So, but that's my perspective. The prime age for a female is 25. That's the prime age for me. A woman in their prime is 25 years old. But then you get primed intellectually in your 30s. In your 30s, you're going to be your best in every form of way. Your 30s, you're going to be your best. By your 40s, you should be ruling. You should be on top, dominating like I am. You know, that's why you see, but your development mentally as a community didn't happen like I just described it. You're not on top psychologically, intellectually. No, you ain't. Because you didn't even know about marrying children. You're too old to not know about that. That's why I rule over you as in a safe situation to say these people, whether they mentally sick or not, or mentally handicapped, they don't seem to be competent about the environment. Well, how you don't know? You live in the real world, right? You're not on cloud nine. Okay, so how your whole community didn't know this? So in most cases, men are going to esteem me as superior, as an omen that he should rule over these people. They look at it as an omen. That's the best way to say it. This man, it's a sign. They would even say from God or false gods, right? It's a sign from false gods that this man is. How we know this, and he the only one knew. He's the one fit the rule. See, you would be surprised how people went buying stuff like that. Okay. That's how you don't some people you had to have that mojo to really be a ruler. You couldn't be by the book like Joe Biden. You couldn't be like that. You had to have some type of charisma and mojo. You know what I'm saying? To really be a leader, a people's champion. You know, you had to really have it. You had to have really all these omens and things. The further you go back, they had to see all of that. They had to see the things line, the stars align, so to speak. And they would say, oh, okay, yeah, that person right there. Yeah, look at that. Look at how he revealed that. No one knew. These governors, the president didn't even say nothing. No, you can't tell me. No. I want you to think about that. Donald Trump didn't even know about this. That's what some people gonna sit you down and say, oh no, hold up. I want you to think about that. Donald Trump. Now, this is the real world. We ain't lost our mind, right? Okay, Donald Trump didn't know about this. And if he did, he ain't say nothing about it, right? We do know that. Okay, that's all we talking about. He ain't say nothing about it. But this prophet, I believe he is a prophet because he the only one talking about this. And you're being a clown on how he did it and all this stuff. The bottom line is he the only one, which to us solidifies him as a prophet. Well, he's he's talking about things that y'all ain't talking about. And ain't no excuse for it would make it so bad. What make it so bad is no excuse that your country didn't know about this. So that's what solidifies him and authenticates him as a prophet. Right there. And nothing more, nothing less for us. Especially not knowing God. We don't know God. We don't claim to know God. But we know this person that claims to know God. See, this is how it was done in the Bible. These unbelievers would see this kind of stuff. Oh, but we don't know about God, but we know this person claims to be a prophet, and he revealed this stuff to our community. We didn't know this, and this is an omen to us that he is probably a prophet, because the bottom line is your whole community didn't say nothing about it. That's the bottom. We ain't talking about nothing else, but they didn't know. They didn't say nothing, and that's all we going with. And he the only one talked about it, and that's the history. That's history. Ain't nobody do it like he did it. Talking about this child marriage. Nope. Nobody ain't do it like he did it, buddy. And you can check me from being thorough a million times, and I'm beyond those levels with facts. I'm beyond that. I don't care about being thorough. I'm right. That's what a real one gonna tell you. I don't care about that right now. That's what a teenager gonna think about. You a grown man hearing this information and worried about if I'm thorough. That's retarded. That's retarded. You ain't think about me being thorough right now. Think about this information. Ain't nobody said nothing about this but him. That's what I want you to look at. He the only one talking about this. That's what I'm saying. And he claims to be a prophet. We believe it. That's why. We believe because all these people talking about children and all this foolishness and everything, all this big circus about children, and the main one you was playing with is the one that's talking about child marriage. You didn't talk about it. And all you senseis and all you martial artsmen that know karate and kung fu and all this other jitsu, you didn't talk about it either, did you? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So with all your arts, you did not know that America was marrying children, did you? And that's how I'm a greater sensei than you. You see what I'm talking about? And so you can't let clowns come in and manipulate that. Now you're on the right track. Now I want my money. And that's what I'm talking about. You see how you heard it? It hit different, don't it? I want my money, bro. That's all I'm talking about. And that's what a real one gonna talk about. Yeah, I want a bag. That's right. Absolutely. I want my bag off this situation. That's all I want. I want my bag off the situation. Now, if I don't get it, I'm going to war like I've been doing. I'm going to war like I've been doing. And that's that. I win. You see what I'm saying? Now imagine some sucker trying to come downstairs from downstairs, upstairs, up here to play with me, the master I am. You see what I'm saying? Street stuff don't even matter. The streets didn't know. It's nobody that matters. Okay? It don't matter. We don't care about that. I rule. Okay? You can't beat it. It's like trying to run through a brick wall. Knock yourself out. Literally, no pun intended. Go ahead. Run through the brick wall. See how bad you are. You're not going to put a big shape through the wall like a cartoon like this. You ain't going to run through this wall like this and leave a shape in the wall like that. It's not going to happen, buddy. You're not going to run through you're going to kill yourself trying to run through a wall. You're going to kill yourself trying to run through this information. That's what I'm trying to show you. Like a brick wall, buddy. You ain't finna run through this. You must be smoking crystal. You smoking meth? You must be. You can't run through America marrying children. No. You can't get through that, buddy. You might as well chill out. That's why I try to tell people, harp down. Stop playing with a real one. Okay, I could be the person you love to hate, but you're going to die. And you're going to put these people in trouble. I could be the person you love to hate all day long, bro, but you're going to put these people in trouble. You're going to put the rest of these people in danger, bro, because God is not trying to hear it. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the punchline. You forgot about God, buddy. See, most men are doing all these things, even talking like I'm talking. Whatever they've been talking about throughout history, they did it in their own efforts. I'm not doing this in my own effort. And that's where the punchline is, buddy. God is right here with me. God is right here with me, right? If you don't comply to this information, like what common sense tell you to do, right? In your common sense mind, this whole country is gonna go up, buddy. That's all there's to it. That's all there is to it. This country gonna go up, buddy. Okay? I already beat you. This information, it ain't no way you can manipulate it. Ain't no way you can do nothing to me and take my life and you marrying children. You tripping. And that's how God is looking at it. You smoking crack, ain't you? You smoking crystal. You must be. You ain't gonna get through. No, not with God. God just waiting. Just waiting for somebody to try me. That's all I'm saying, bro. You lose. And listen, and how you should look at it as a community is ain't no way in the world these people should have been out here playing with this person for this long. And that's how we got them. See, the truth is, if you would have walked away maybe 2 or 3 years into this situation, I wouldn't even knew about no child marriage because I wouldn't have investigated it. Because I would have been left alone. I would have been left alone, right? We not letting America play like they some superheroes. You not. You married children. That's what we stuck on. That's what we stuck on right now. You not getting past it. A white boy is not getting past this. You not Jedi mind tricking past it. All the psychological stuff we already know. You're just trying to trigger. I evaluate it and know I stand with what you're throwing. This ain't martial arts. It's psychological karate, buddy. Okay, you want to see a show and this is about the end. And how we feel, you don't even deserve a formal showdown because you married children. So you're beneath me. So the next thing is America is beneath me for marrying children. So I won't even fight you. Because what you gonna think, they can apply that too. Because what you gonna think is they deserve a showdown. This is America for crying out loud. Yeah, that's the old America where we didn't know they was marrying children. The realized America is, well, no, you don't deserve a showdown as Americans. No, we ain't looking at none of that stuff you did. We looking at you coming out against this man ignorant of your own country. It's not only that you did it, you was ignorant of you doing it. That's what makes you totally double inadequate and incompetent. It's not one thing that you did it. It's also that you didn't know your country did it. It's twice the time, buddy. It's the fact that you're doing it and the fact that these other people ignorant of these people doing it. You see the problem? You can't get past that, buddy. You can't get past. That's bulletproof. That includes police. You can't go through that, buddy. You can't run through no brick wall as a policeman. You can try. You can get all your speed up. You know how they can run. I hope you got your billy club, buddy. I hope you got your billy club getting through that wall. Hope you got your billy club getting through that wall, buddy. You ain't getting through that wall. Marrying children. I done educated police while you sounding sirens. Oh, go ask San Francisco police. I educated 2 police officers face to face about marrying children in the United States of America. And guess what? This is the punchline. This is what put the nail in the coffin. I educated 2 policemen that didn't know about your country marrying children. I educated them. You can't look at me as no delinquent. I talked to 2 cops while I was homeless. They just wanted me to move along as a homeless man out of a certain place where I was living, right? Or I was sleeping. Now, when they came and approached me, I already knew it was a game behind it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I got to say what I wanted to say to them. I told the cops in San Francisco, 2 San Francisco cops, you can go ask. You can go ask about the politics. I educated 2 San Francisco police. This is for white people who think I'm a delinquent, think I'm a dangerous person. I talked to cops face to face and educated your police that did not know that your country was marrying children. They didn't even know. The cop said, and we thank you. This is what the cop said. And we thank you for this information. This cop didn't even know. The cop, he wasn't going along with nothing like I'm retarded. Oh, we gonna just act like we didn't know, but this cop did not know. This cop did not know. So how's the sounding sirens? Where that put you at? Sounding your siren when I already done talked to cops. Where does that put you at? Nowhere with me. You ain't nowhere with me. That don't mean nothing. You grandstanding and it don't mean nothing. I can talk to you face to face and put you in your place where you marry children as a community. Anybody got any objections? They ain't doing nothing to me, buddy. All you're doing is ending the country. That's all you're doing. Listen, I don't see them the same way like I used to. They not the country that I grew up thinking they were. They not the same people I thought they were. Now that I realize they marry children, I have to change all the history that I once knew and update all of it. You got to update all the history. The older you are, the worse it is. You got to update all the history that you had in America and realize they was marrying children the whole history that you was here in America. The whole history you've been born, the whole history you've been alive. They've been marrying children the whole time. So you got to go back and update all that history. That's what I did. Like, oh, wow, they was marrying children through the 80s, all the 80s. All the breakdance and everything, they was marrying children. African Bambaataa and all of that, marrying children. Through the 90s with R. Kelly, marrying children. While Michael Jackson was doing what he was doing, they was marrying children. Even Prince looked at his wife and she was only 16 years old, buddy. Prince said, that was my wife. Well, she was 16. He waited. But he seen her as a woman at 16. Hey. I'm just saying, that's even Prince. Prince basically found his wife at 16. That's how you need to look at it. Everybody know the real history. Okay, so do you get to sexualize children? Because that's basically what you're going to do. Is it right or wrong to look at a 16-year-old girl and say, that's my wife? As for men, is it right or wrong? Is it yes or no? Yes or no question. Do you feel that it's right? Do you feel that it's right to sexualize children and say that's your wife at 16 years old? Would you go to a 16-year-old girl and say that's your wife? Would a woman go to a 16-year-old boy and say that's my husband? I'ma just wait for him. See, but that's how the old school was. And nobody don't want to admit the real history. Where grown men were waiting for children, but they seen the potential of who they would be, and they decided to wait for that person, to wait for that child. Right? That's how America was. The worst thing you could have done was try to attack you. This is how we know a lot of quirky gay and lesbian dummies are behind it. Man, how you don't know America is one of the most sexually charged countries in the world? This is one of the most sexually immoral countries in the world. How in the world you think I ain't gonna find no dirt on the Americans? Marrying children. When Russia does not marry children. China does not marry children, do they? So you can't say Russia is marrying children. So who's the greatest, Russia or America? When America is marrying children, who's the greatest? So even though America's marrying children, they still the greatest. Oh, based off what? The military. Well, the military got the age of consent at 16 years old. Oh, you didn't know that? If you join the military, you can have sex with 16-year-old girls and boys in the military. That's for military. Under the UCMJ program, which stands for Uniform Code of Military Justice. That's the installment in the military. Uniform Code of Military Justice, right? The UCMJ is what they call it. Under the UCMJ installment, that's what determines the age of consent for all American military personnel. And they put the age of consent at 16 years old for all military personnel, which means all American military personnel can have sex with 16-year-old girls and boys. That's for your military. Okay, so is that what makes you think this country is great? The military that's having sex with 16-year-old girls and boys? That's all branches of the military, by the way. That's Navy, Green Beret, Jackals. You don't know about Jackals, do you? Jackals are the ones that the Americans use to go corrupt other countries. Oh yeah, go look into it. Military people that come into a country and corrupt leaders and corrupt the country. That's Jackals. Oh, I know about Jackals. And I seen a surprised look on the face of veteran military when they knew I knew about Jackals. I know about Jackals. As in a dog, Jackal, I know about Jackals. Green Beret, Navy SEALs, right? All under the age of consent of 16, which means a Green Beret can have sex with a 16-year-old girl and boy. See, this is how they cover themselves all over the world. So if they travel all around the world, they won't have no true liabilities if they just lower it a little bit. Just in case you're tempted with some of these 16-year-old girls and boys around the world. You won't bring no liabilities back on the military. I guarantee you that's probably why they did it. Because if we put it at 18 and you go out in the world and make a fool of us, and then we got to constantly prosecute all these people based on the age of consent under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you're going to make a fool of America. So we're going to lower it a little bit and make it 16. So what makes you think you're greater than Russia? What makes you think you're greater than Russia? I covered the military, having sex with 16-year-old girls. I covered America, marrying children. So if they're doing that, are they better than Russia? Are they better than Russia? They're not. So how are you better than Russia? My question to you is this. If you marry children, are you better than Russia? And they don't marry children? That's a yes or no question. That's not a trick question. It's about your morals. It's what you believe. If you marry children and they don't, how are you better than them? Your military has sex with children too, right? How are you better than the Russian military? China don't marry children. How are you better than China and you marry children as Americans? So yes or no question, are you better than China? Not just morally. Well, the moral part determines the whole perspective. Some would say, most average person would say the moral part is a big perspective of who we feel is the greatest. So America is not the greatest because they marry children. Boom. That's 7 hours. No, you ain't the greatest. Okay, you're not the greatest. So you can play jackal positions. You can play all these different type of positions. And I'm going to just laugh at you. You know why I'm going to laugh at you? Because I know that no matter what you do, God is watching and you're in trouble. It's one thing for Jay-Z to say the streets is watching. The prophet is saying God is watching. And guess what? Just like the insinuation is the streets can do something, God can do everything when he's watching. And he's always watching. So why are you greater? Why are you greater? How are you greater than China? So you're only great as your greatest leader. You're only great as your leader. Next question. Is Trump the greatest leader in the world? Trump is the greatest leader. So if Trump is not the greatest leader and you just got to pick based on reality, right? Not in being biased towards America. Let's just say in reality, with you realizing Trump is not the greatest leader, who is the greatest leader right now? This is you wanting to see reality. You just want to know what reality is, right? Who's the greatest leader right now? Who's the greatest leader? If Trump is not the greatest leader, right? Who's the greatest leader right now? And that's what you need to be thinking about. Before Trump, Joe Biden. Was Joe Biden the greatest leader in the world? Oh, it is that simple. Because the leader is the one that's gonna make all the bad decisions and put the community in trouble. Trump and Biden is doing that. Biden, was he the greatest leader in the world? Let's ask Trump. Trump ain't even gonna say Biden was the greatest leader. Joe Biden was not the greatest leader in the entire world, right? Right. So, compared against other leaders, was Joe Biden the greatest leader when he was president? Was he the greatest leader? So then, in reality, you would have to pick the greatest leader, the best person to be the greatest leader, the most competent person. So during Joe Biden's administration, y'all didn't have the greatest leader. So, guess what? Russia was the greatest leader during the Joe Biden administration. You might challenge it during Trump's administration, say what you want to say. You can say whatever. But during the Joe Biden administration, Putin was the greatest leader. Between whether you choose Putin or the president of China, you decide which one, right? You decide. But it wasn't Joe Biden. Joe Biden was not the greatest leader. So then you got to give it to somebody else without being biased. So who was it? Who was the greatest leader during Joe Biden's? It matters because a lot of stuff was going on while you didn't have the greatest leader. That's the punchline. While you're not having the greatest leaders, stuff is happening. You ain't gonna be able to hang on. You know what's gonna happen? Your leaders are going to destroy your greatness. All the stuff that you're thinking about, the leaders is gonna destroy that. Military, police force, everything. National Guard, tariffs, economy, everything. Racial tension, all of that. You're only as great as your leader. You're only as great as your leader, buddy. So was Joe Biden the greatest leader? So then someone else was the greatest leader and other things were happening while Joe Biden was not the greatest leader, and America therefore did not have the greatest leader. No, Joe Biden wasn't. Joe Biden was not the greatest leader. So then who was it? At that time, America was not number one with the greatest leader. So who was it? And this explains why you're in trouble. Because while you were asleep, you were not the greatest country in the world. No, you wasn't. It was somebody else. You decide who it was. Russia or China, you decide. You decide, but it wasn't Joe Biden. And some would say it's not Trump. So then you want to go back to Barack Obama, which I feel is the last president of the world, of the country. everything else is a circus. Barack Obama was the last president. I voted for Barack Obama twice. Like I like to say it, I put him in the White House twice, right? I put Barack Obama in the White House twice. So you can see what kind of man I am. I went out and voted twice for Barack Obama. But after him, I voted for Hillary Clinton, and that was the last person I voted for. I voted 3 times in my life. Barack Obama twice and Hillary Clinton. So you can see that I'm not a delinquent. I have been part of the political process in your country. You can go check the records on that, by the way. I voted for Barack Obama twice and Hillary Clinton once, right? Now, she's probably your best bet moving forward for the Democratic community. She's probably your best bet. Joe Biden been running for office since '88. He's been running for office since, why not? He's been running for office since, look how old he was. Hillary Clinton's not that old. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm with whoever, but I'm just saying your best bet would probably be Hillary Clinton. That's your best bet, buddy. Think about it. Ain't nobody gonna be on a presidential level that understand how this country moves and works and everything. You know, no, ain't nobody gonna be like that. But she the last one like that we can see right now at face value. She the last one, and I voted. That was the last person I voted for. Okay, but since then, since the Barack Obama administration, there has not been no real presidency in this country. Everything is, in my opinion, has been playing catch up. It's about putting the white supremacist or white rule or authority back on top. Now, that's not every white American that's doing that. That's not all of them. But it's enough of them. Okay? My personal belief is that after Barack Obama, they wanted to usurp over black energy, a black president in the White House. So what they did was they put his nemesis, Donald Trump, in the White House to counter all the progress of Barack Obama. So all this has been is countering. This has been a political race war. What you didn't realize is that these people still retaliated for Barack Obama being in office. How did they retaliate? They put Donald Trump in the White House. Donald Trump was the most vocal person against Barack Obama becoming president by talking about his birth certificate, right or wrong. So what they thought was, because a racist gonna rally around this person. This is the person, because a racist is gonna give the opposition against the black man in his first time being a president. The racist is gonna manifest as opposition. So the racist people got behind Trump. This is how he began MAGA. MAGA started with bitter white Americans that wanted to prevent Trump, Barack Obama from getting in office. That's who it was. That's why you don't understand how he got this movement, because that's the people that rallied behind Trump when white America was scared of a black man becoming president. That started the foundation of MAGA. That's why they was fighting black people. I remember when MAGA was fighting black people with in the rallies. Now it's all you know, MAGA is all these different things. The original MAGA was bitter white Americans that wanted to challenge Barack Obama with the birth certificate. That's who they rallied together to Trump. So when Trump ran for office, he had them same people. They grew a bond through Donald Trump being verbal about this black man. That's how they grew a bond. That I really believe that. Because how you get all these rednecks and Trump is a Yankee? If you don't know nothing about white people, Yankees and rednecks don't get along because they have different worldviews about black people. Yankees and rednecks, many of them, not all of them, they got different worldviews about white people in America. And it's just a whole different worldview overall. But that's part of the reason. So how do all these rednecks like Trump, and Trump is a Yankee? He's born right here in New York. So how all these rednecks like him? Oh, from his networking down in Florida that the rednecks don't even know about. The rednecks don't know nothing about Trump down in Florida. He was a fat cat New Yorker to these rednecks. Right. A financial fat cat. They didn't know how Trump thought. They didn't know nothing about Trump. The rednecks didn't like Trump. They started liking Trump after he was verbal about Barack Obama's birth certificate while he was becoming the president. That's who rallied behind him, because a racist gonna think, yeah, what about that? What about the birth certificate? And they rallied behind the person that was trying to prevent him, whether Trump was racist or not at the time. That's what how racism manifests sometimes, as prevention. To prevent this black man, right? So then who you gonna listen to? The person trying to prevent him. The person trying to prevent the black man, which was Trump. Now, follow me. They knew they couldn't kill Barack Obama because that would have caused America to go deeper in blackness. Where white people would say, we're gonna give black people more of America because of Barack Obama getting assassinated. They couldn't kill him. The smartest and dumbest assassins knew they could not kill Barack Obama, and it got better. It would only get worse, which means white America would have gave more authority to black America. That's why they didn't kill him. That's the main reason why. Because at that moment in time, if they would have killed him in the early millennium, America would have became more black. So they had to play chess in the same arena of politics. They had to have the race war in politics. And so they put Trump in office, their chess move. Just in case you think these racist people were just didn't do anything. You didn't pay attention. You was too busy enjoying Barack Obama. You was too busy enjoying his presidency. Right? You didn't think about your enemies. What were they doing? They were seething mad the whole time. That's number one. They were seething mad the whole time. And they put Trump in office as a counter, knowing he was a vocal nemesis, to counter all his energy out the White House. What's the best way to counter somebody's energy? What's the best way to counter the energy of a person? Their enemy. The person that was talking about that birth certificate, we're going to put him in there. We're going to put that guy in there. We know for sure he hates you. So he gonna counter all your energy like a vacuum out that White House. All that energy, how we gonna get that black man's energy out that house? The only way we will feel like it's a White House again is if we put somebody that hated that man in there. Not because he was, listen, it's gotta be better than just him being black, who hated him personally. We gonna put him in there. We gonna put him in the White House because we know he gonna get all that energy out, because we know he hated Barack Obama. We know he at least was against him. So we gonna feel like it's better in the White House now that we put someone who did not like Barack Obama, who made it very clear in different ways. You can go look it up. You can go look up all kind of stuff, the tension between Barack Obama and Trump. And that's what racist white America felt comfortable with putting in the White House to counter as a chess move in a race war politically. Because Barack Obama changed the whole perspective of white America. That a black man, a man of African descent, can articulate himself properly and run the country. It destroyed this perspective that the black man is 2/3 of a human being. White girls who never seen a black face. Remember, some white people live in the boondocks, in the sticks, right? They live in the sticks. They don't see no black people faces. So guess what they see? Nothing but stereotypes on TV and on the internet and on the phones. That's all they see. They see a stereotype, right? Barack Obama comes on the scene and shows something they never even seen. Mind you, they probably ain't look, half of them ain't look at Malcolm X and MLK. They ain't really studied them, right? Barack Obama became the first black guy that talked clearly and like an American, with American reasoning and thought patterns. And white young America was forced to change their opinion of the black man. This is why they hated it. If his presidency didn't do anything else, it changed racial tensions. It changed racial tensions. It helped racial affairs. Better to say. That's what I wanted to say. It changed, it progressed racial affairs concerning the perspective of African Americans in America. If it didn't do anything else. If you can go pick through, and that's what a lot of people gonna do. They gonna pick through his presidency, but for sure, whether you like it or not, it changed. Whether you agree with his policies or not, it changed the perspective of white America, looking at black people literally as animals and 2/3 of a human being. Some people literally thought that, and still think that. That's why for a black man, his fight is not only to be physical, but his fight is also to prove his competency and that he's a full human being. And while you sleeping on it, while you acting like an animal, confirming what they think, that you're 2/3 of a human being. So personally, a black man has to fight for his own individual competency as a human being. They look at our facial features, they look at our nose, our foreheads, and think we are not even human. Oh, let's keep it real. So half of your fight is to prove your competency, to prove that you're a civilized human being. That's why you can't play yourself with going too far into being a savage. Because one of your fights as a black person in this country is to fight for your level for your respect of being a competent human being. That's a personal fight. See, a black man that's got his head on right know these personal fights that he got to fight for himself. Yeah, when you got it, when anytime when it's showtime for who you are as a person, and especially if you're famous. Oh, and don't be famous. You got to show your competency as a black man or a black woman. It's not just a fight to get money, because they can say you're an animal with money like these rappers. You got to show that you're competent as a human being, civilized as a human being should be, not just tearing off people's heads. You got to prove to them that you have the same reasoning and makeup and design as a human being. You got to show them that. Otherwise, that's a battle that we lose, a battle that you lose. See, I'm winning my battle of showing I'm competent in mine. See how you played yourself? Because they was already thinking that we animals. All you had to do was act like I was a dirty dog, and that's confirming the 2/3 theory of African Americans. You played yourself as black people. Now I prove to actually be more competent than he is. This is how I beat the racist America, and that's also another thing that I've done. I've beaten the racist American because I beat him at his own value system. His value system about these children. Even though he's racist, a racist man isn't necessarily a child molester. Now is he? No, he is not. So I beat him in his own value system of protecting children. So because he knows he's racist, right? He don't care about that. So for pro-black leaders, you're not going to beat a racist telling him he's racist. You ain't going to beat him telling him he's racist. He knows. He celebrates racism, for crying out loud. He celebrates racism. To tell him he's racist, you don't win. To prove it, you don't win. He gonna say, well, yeah, I am a bit of a racist, aren't I? Proud of it. I am a bit of a racist. I think so. How do I look? How's my left side? How's my left side as a racist? How's my left side as a racist? In the camera, how's my left side as a racist? He knows he's racist. He knows. You don't beat him that way. The way you beat him is you beat him at his own individual racist value system. You find what he values and you beat him there. You beat him there, showing the contradiction concerning what he values. Because I know a racist man cares about these children, don't he? See how far this goes? That's why when God gave me this information, I know I won in so many ways. Now you see what I'm talking about. It affects everything. I beat the racist white man in his own value system concerning children, marrying children. Now I can talk to a white supremacist that's talking about this is his country and et cetera, woo, 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 right? And I'm going to tell you, okay, ain't y'all marrying children in America? He gonna say, what are you talking about, boy? First of all, I'm a man, right? Okay, yeah, let's get that straight first. Let's get that straight first, buddy. You like boys, actually. While we're talking about boys, you like boys and girls, right? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Well, you marry children in 34 states of America. Oh, no, hold up. Let me see this on my phone. Hold up. Stay right here. Stay right here. Google it, 34 states of child marriage laws. Hold on. Boy, I tell you one thing, boy. That's how they talking. I tell you one thing, boy. You might be black, but boy, you a different kind of black man. I'm telling you, no, listen, I haven't changed my tune, but for you to educate me on my own country about us marrying children, you're a different kind of black man. You're not a normal black man. No, you're not. My daddy didn't teach me this, and all my comrades don't know about no child marriage in this country. You say you're a prophet. You're a prophet of God. Well, you know what? You might be right. Because I tell you one thing, boy, you sure got us on this one. You got us on this one. You know you do. Because I can't do no shigamadig out of that. I can't do no shigamadig out of that, buddy. Marrying children, now you beat me in my own value system. What I value is my children, and they marrying children in my country, and I didn't know about it. And a black man told me about it that claims to be a prophet. Now see, you got my respect. Because see, long as they tell me about being racist, listen, I don't care nothing about that. You ain't going to stop me from being racist. I drink my beer, and I sit on my porch and drink my beer, and I'm not bothering nobody. But I'm a modern day racist. I'm a modern day racist. I sit out and drink my beer on my porch, and I feel the way I feel. And more so now. Look at the stuff that's going on. Look at all this foolishness going on. Well, do you think it got better? You think my views got better? No. All them, you're killing your own kids, and you don't see no white man killing his own kids. I get drunk on my porch, and I just look at all these black people killing kids, and I say to myself, even though I don't like these black people, right? I wouldn't go kill them kids. I'm a modern day racist. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little more understandable. You know what I mean? I drink my beer, like I said, I drink my beer. Yeah, I gotta have me a beer, I drink my beer. I drink my beer on my porch, right? And I don't bother nobody, and I feel the way I feel. I'm not, that's a modern day racist. I listen, with all this stuff that's going on, can you blame me? That's what I want to ask you. Can you blame me? Can you really blame me? With all this stuff going on, I mean, I'm not perfect, but it's within reason a little bit. It's kind of reasonable that I have some type of confusion about these people these days now. Come on now. Malcolm X was a different animal. Malcolm X didn't contradict himself. No. Malcolm X did the right thing. MLK did the right thing. Now you can't say these racist people now, oh no, these black people, excuse me, these black people out here now, boy, I tell you, boy, stuff I seen on the internet on my phone, see, they don't realize we can go into their world now, and we can see all the stuff they're doing. Sometimes I sit on my porch and drink my beer and look at these black people doing all this stuff on the internet. And I'm just sitting there like, now, these supposed to be the same people that will get up and talk about this stuff in front of the Congress and talk about all these different things. I'm wondering, do they see what's going on in their own communities? Do they see the contradiction that I see? This contradiction of you killing your own people and killing children. I mean, we don't even kill your children. In fact, you've caught up to killing more children than I think we have as racist white people. I mean, well, think about it. We didn't kill the children because we needed them for slavery. It might sound a little stupid, but no, think about it. We had to raise slaves. Why would we kill a perfectly young slave? Make it make sense, like you would say. I'm taking your slang, see? I be watching y'all on the internet. I'm taking your slang. Make it make sense. Make it make sense when you kill your own people. Kill your own children. And then you get in front of these police and you act like the whole world done fell apart from one black person dying in the streets. Now, but like you would say, you don't have the same energy when it comes to these black thugs killing each other, killing the children. You don't have the same energy. I notice you don't act the same. You don't act like you care about it as much but when these white people kill you, you lose your whole mind, don't you? See, that's the only thing I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at, man. And I just drink my beer and I just, I sit on my porch and my worldviews are the way they are, and I just feel, that I should be left alone. I feel like, these racist white people we're an endangered species in this country. They treat y'all like endangered species. Yeah, they do. You can't do nothing to you. Can't say nothing to you. You can't even criticize a black person. It ain't no man above criticism. If you criticize them, then you're racist. That's why I just drink my beer and I don't even say nothing no more. I just drink my beer. I don't even say nothing. If you do, you might lose employment. I might lose my truck job if I say something about a black person. You notice I don't say racial slurs anymore. We say a black person. If I say something about a black person, I might lose my job in my own country. In my own country. Can you see how far it's done went? In my own country, if I say something and just speak my mind on and criticize a black person, it's considered that because I'm white, I'm saying this because he's black. But what about it's room to criticize this guy. It is room to criticize him as a human being. He's not perfect, is he? So I can't criticize him, right? I can't offer any constructive criticism. See, that's what I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about? So then how do we interact, with people we can't criticize, but they can criticize us? Oh, there's room to criticize. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room to criticize now. Well, if it wasn't before, it is now. How about that, buddy? And so what am I supposed to be like today, these days? Well, what? I'm living here as a human being. Let's get past the element of race. Well, let's just look at this as another human being and all the stuff they're doing. You see what I mean? When I tell you that, you're not thinking about a race of people. But this prophet is different. And the reason why he's different, I'm telling you, this is what white people say, and respect me. Racist white people. The reason why he's different, because he didn't try to pull that racism stuff on us, He didn't try, no. Because I personally have my reasons for why I'm racist today. I got great, I can show you a lot these days. I can sit out here, you can sit out here with my phone, and me and you can drink some beers, and I can take you through my phone and show you some stuff you probably haven't even seen about black people. I got the good stuff, man. I got stuff y'all know you ain't even seen on the internet. You probably haven't. And until we get all the way tipsy and drink a couple beers, that's what I'm going to show you. I ain't going to show you in the beginning. I'm going to show you when we got about 4 or 5 beers in us. Then I'm going to show you this stuff. And you're going to feel me. Like you say, feel you. You're going to feel me. Hey, because a racist going to use a little slang. Come on, let's be realistic. They going to use a little slang. Think about it. You're going to feel me, man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel me. I'm gonna show you this stuff on the internet, and listen, man, we're gonna get about 5 beers in us and watch. We're gonna get about 5 beers in us, and you're gonna feel me. Like all that killing they do of these children out here, and all of that, and all of that going on, and what am I supposed to do? See, you're gonna think because you're a part of them. See, you're a part of them. And because you're a part of them, you're going to, how do I put this? You're going to voucher. You're going to voucher for them. You're going to be with them rain, sun, or shine. Unless you're like the prophet, he's going through spiritual warfare and with these black folks like crazy, all this other stuff with the Americans. But if you're not the prophet, you're going to go with these. You're going to go with these other people. You're going to go with your own people. You're going to go with your own people. You're going to go with these black folks. And they're not right these days in the head now. I tell you, they not. I'm telling you that now. You can say what you want to say, man, but I don't know where you think you're going. I don't know where you think you're going. As a community, where you going? I even listen to a little black music. Do you know where you're going to? Do you know what life is showing you? Do you know? Okay, I kind of butchered that, but you get the point. Do you know where you're going to? You don't know where you're going to? See that? See that part? See, that's a problem right there for you. You don't even know where you're going. Now, imagine you trying to come check me. See, I'm using all your slang. Imagine you trying to check me, bro. Imagine you trying to check me. While we're sitting here drinking these beers, you could knock me out. You might want to punch me. You get drunk enough, you start having these evil thoughts about punching me in my face. But the truth is, I'm right. I'm actually right about this. You don't know where your people going, do you? You don't know. Now, you don't know where your people are going. Now, so then what we supposed to do? Hang tight till it gets worked out? Put yourself in my shoes. Do we supposed to hang tight till everything works out there? That's not the real world, buddy. We're not going to hang tight. Racist America is going to feel like more is the time than ever to rise to the occasion. More than ever. I'm just letting you know that's how they feel. They feel more than ever. And here's where it gets tricky. You know, you all the killing, all the stuff, you know, see, I'm one of those racists that I see, you know, I'll talk to you. But they're not even willing to negotiate and talk, you know, because, you know, they feel they're right about things, and what can you say? They sit around and smoke a bowl, and like I do, sit on the porch and smoke a bowl, and, you know, talk to these things, and you know, we all feel the same way, you know, basically, you know, this man is, you know, killing his own people, and then he's turning around and on us, and act like we're the monsters, and I mean, you gotta update yourself, you know, like the phone. I got this phone, and I have to update this phone all the time, you know. I gotta update my computer. I got a computer in there, and I gotta update the software all the time, right? You gotta update yourself on black people. You think you have done it, but you have not done it. I'm telling you, you haven't done it. No, you haven't. You still think they're like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Yeah, you do. You still think that. You still think they like Martin Luther King Jr. They're not. Do you don't think we noticed that as racists? That Malcolm X is not like these black guys out here now. They're not like him. No, they're not. So then what we supposed to do? Hang tight? Hang tight till they become like Malcolm X. Now come on now. We supposed to hang tight while they become Malcolm X. The prophet is the only one made it close to anything like him. The rest of them, I kind of question all of them. Ain't nobody perfect now. I don't make no man perfect. Ain't no man perfect. Now, but Jesus is perfect. Jesus was perfect. Jesus was the only one perfect. Right? We know that now. We can't lose scope of that. But this prophet right here, whether he be flawed or perfect, I tell you, boy, he put a whipping on this country, I tell you. He put a whipping on this country. I don't care what you're talking about, buddy. He put a heck of a whipping on this country. He put a heck of a whipping on this country because you talking about these children, and that's now we're talking about a whole different ball game. Because we all got the children now. You got black children, I got white children. And we don't want nobody penetrating their vagina. Come on now, come on. We're men. We know we wouldn't do that. But we got to study the details of what's going on here. You ain't no man should be putting no penis in no children's vaginas at all, you know. And I don't care if I'm a bit of a racist, but I tell you one thing, I ain't putting my pecker in a child, in marrying a child. Think about that. I mean, you know, marrying a child, I mean, that's an extreme, right? That's an extreme. You could say that's just as extreme as racism. Well, based on our standards that we have here, that we contradict. We contradict our standards. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We contradict our standards. And the prophet is the only one talking about it. And ain't no way in the world I'll let these black folks disrespect him. Because they was just sitting here. If I'm white and I didn't know, how I'm going to let a black man stand up and talk against this prophet? This prophet is the only one. None of us knew. We didn't know as white people, and you didn't know as black people, and and listen, even though I ain't in this war, I'm still not going to tolerate in my world for black people to be playing with this prophet. It's just you know, playing with them for sport, and they're not going to prove anything especially to racist white America, pretty much all of America. You know, I know the different parts as a white man. I know all of us are not racist, but no part of America, no part of white people is going to agree with this prophet being the one that told us all this stuff about ourselves. That's how you need to hear it. buddy. I'm saying what the prophet would say. That's how you need to hear it, buddy. You know, ain't nobody going to tolerate him telling us all, he's the one told us. You don't want to accept it, but that's how you need to hear it, buddy. He the one told us, right? Okay, so that's the history, whether you like it or not, dude. He the one told us, right? Okay, can you imagine us letting black people that's killing children to play with this prophet? I don't care if they were talking about pedophile. Did you see him do it? You didn't see him, did you? Okay, so then you sound ignorant. Like the ghetto stuff I see on my phone. This ghetto stuff I see on my phone, that's how you sound to me. It's hearsay. That's a better word for it. It's hearsay. You might get offended if I say it's ghetto. You're not offended yet, are you? Okay, so it's hearsay, right? That's what it is. I gotta be extra careful. You know, black people are very sensitive. I gotta be very careful. I can't go too far. You know, I can't say, but real men can. You know what I'm saying? Real men can. You know, I question people's real manhood. You know, you can't really say nothing to them. You know, you can say anything to me as long as it's the truth. And as long as it's the real truth, I don't mind whatever you say. You know, but as long as it's the truth. You know, as long as you're not just hearsay like these other people. You know, even on the prophet, you got hearsay, man. You made a fool of yourself. Black people made a complete fool of themselves. You know, they did. They made a fool of themselves. Because now, this man is the only one that I respect that came out here and talked about the child marriage in America. And then, I'm going to use another word. You know, you can't make this up. You know, you can't make it up that he's the only one talking about it. That's where I'm stuck at right there. That's where I'm stuck at right there, buddy. I'm stuck where technically, you know, officially, he's the only one really talking about this. Now, out of all black people, that man lives. Listen, off the strength of that alone, he lives. In the eyes of racists and racist America. Now, imagine the black people playing with him. It's almost like we want to do something about it. Well, you listen, you contradict yourself too much to be playing with somebody. That's what we talk about. You contradict yourself too much to be playing with this man. You know, you got to stop doing the stuff you're doing, buddy. Like Malcolm X and MLK, them two right there, they for far as helping black people and, you know, strengthening them up and giving them strength, they did that. They did that. But how long are we going to look at black people like them when they don't look like them? They don't act like these people. No, they don't. They don't act anything like them. So then what are we going to do? Wait, hang tight till they become like Malcolm X. Hang tight, huh? Hang tight till they become like Malcolm X. So meanwhile, what do we do? No, hold on, guy. I got a good point going, guy, don't I? What do we do meanwhile as a racist? Well, we just wait. We just patiently wait. We're already critical. Keep that in mind. What do we do meanwhile? I mean, no, better say, this is a better question. No, not giving the perfect answers, like the prophet would say. You're not giving the perfect answers. You know, you know we're not perfect. Not by a long shot, right? What do we do meanwhile, while y'all getting it together as a community? As a community, you're supposed to be getting it together, right? What do we do as imperfect people, already critical of you? What would you suggest reasonably? What do you think going to happen instead of what do we do? What do you think is going to happen? Which is reality. We're referencing to now reality. What do you think is going to happen in reality? While we're hanging tight, supposed to be waiting for you to become like Malcolm X. We're waiting for you to become like Malcolm X. Practice what you preach, in other words. We're waiting for you to practice what you preach concerning preserving your own people's lives. And maybe because you're so biased over there with those other white folks, those sedity, sophisticated white folks, use one of your words, sedity. See how much vocabulary I got from the black community? It's from online. Well, that's where I got it from. Now there's sedity and bougie. See, now I go another one. Bougie and sedity. But they're doing all the killing. And all I know is it's not going to, it's not reasonable in the real world. We're imperfect people that you think we're going to see things your way, and you're killing each other. I mean, we would have never thought that we would have saw the day that black folks were killing each other. Can you imagine how we felt when we first seen that? Like, hold on, what's going on here? There's something happened. Like you would say with the DJ, switch. See, I told you, listen, you should feel like I'm not that much of a racist, that bad of one. I know all the slang and all the switch for the DJ. But that's how we thought about you when, you switched with the start killing each other. Start killing the children and everything. Can you imagine how we felt as white racist America? We didn't know what to think about. It was so good, boy. I'm telling you. You don't know, boy. We made love by the lakes many nights thinking about how good it was. Them black folks killing each other like that. Oh, we got off real good. I'm talking about real good. We got a couple kids off of that. Listen, we got a couple kids off of that, buddy. Well, put yourself in our shoes. We're a bunch of racists smoking pot by the lake and everything at midnight. And those black folks over there killing each other. Boy, listen, I was all in my woman, boy, with it. All of us racists, we were just, listen, buddy, we was just making love like champions, boy. When we realized they was over there and the killing machine was in their own community and we seen them killing each other, can you imagine our first reaction to that? Hold up, these are the same people that were fighting for rights, right? When did this happen? When did this happen? Boy, we made love. I tell you, listen, man. I tell you about summer 92. In summer 92, boy, I tell you, boy, I was smoking pot I catching fish and by the lake. We smoke pot by the lake and catch fish, and man, right on the same lake, man, we make love to our women right there on the listen, it was like a big orgy, man. Everybody was in their own zone, See, that was another word. Everybody in their own zone. It was like a big orgy, though. A big orgy. We had a fire and everything. We had a campfire and everything. And I tell you, boy, I get flashbacks for how good that time was. Cause all that killing y'all were doing, we just fed off of the energy of all of that. Did you realize that we've been feeding off of that energy? Where we celebrated you killing each other. You were doing it to each other, and can you imagine how we were on this side? We were just smoking pot and drinking, and we were doing great. The only thing different was that the economy, the white man still was boxed out of the economy decently, so that's where we sobered up. But as far as the killing, tell you, we had many great nights thinking about all that you were doing to each other. That's why when you talk about racism, it doesn't compare to what we know you're doing to yourselves now. I mean, we've had many discussions about this. We've had many discussions. Just put yourself in our world, because you might have, critiqued us to think we're just sitting there like a little well-kept dog while y'all killing each other. We partied, we got drunk, we talked about it, we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that you switched over to killing each other like that. I mean, let's go back in time with the racist people. Can you imagine how we were processing that? Can you imagine how we were processing you killing each other? Like, how do you think we thought about it? We couldn't. The main thing wasn't like just they're killing each other. You know, some people were like that, but you know, we could. Most people were in shock. It was shock more than anything else. You know, you couldn't believe the same people that fought so hard for rights. All that fighting for nothing. All that yelling around and yelling in the streets and protesting and throwing up the Black Power fist, and you know, even the pics. You know, some of them black women look good with a big afro and with the pic in it. You know, listen. Everyone, I ain't gonna lie. Back in the day, you know, when I was a teenager, about 18, 19, you know, I ran into one black woman, man, you know. I can't listen. My friends don't like to hear that story, but I don't know. You know, I can't. I always wondered what it would almost be like, you know, but I can't say really. If I would be obviously compatible, but you know, when it comes to partying, boys, I mean, you know, I can party with these women, and you know, and you know, and. I feel like, you know, they have a great, they have a good personality. You know, the black women, I don't know, I mean, the white black guys, you know, I mean, they are cool, but the black women got that good. It ain't just sex, it's the personality. You know, you sit down and talk to them about your problems and everything. They're very understanding. You know, I changed my own opinion, but you know, most of us racists, we had a little chocolate back in our day. You know, but we can't talk about it. You know, but we'll be lying if we said we didn't have sex with one of these black women. You know, when we was partying in the crack days. You know, back in, you know, cause us racists, we got hooked on that crack too. Oh yeah. It got us too out here. You know, we didn't go through. But put yourself in that. Think about it. Come to the real world where in these trailer parks and all, they were smoking crack like crazy. Then we got crack stories just like y'all got crack stories. Well, we didn't look at it like it was a black drug. I tell you that, buddy. We didn't care. We didn't. Well, you know, we might have started out. Well, you know, that's what the black guys do. And then, once we hit that pipe, that was it, buddy. We listen. We brought that into our world. We was over here smoking crack in our world. Hey, we felt like he made it for us. One thing a black man did right was make that crack cocaine. One thing he did do right. Tell you that, boy. Man, listen, man. We went to the stars many nights smoking that crack back in the 90s, boy. Back in the 80s too, a little bit. Back in the 80s. See, that's why I met them black women. You know what I'm saying? I say this respectfully, them crack whores. I met them crack whores. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they knew what a crack was. That was the main thing for me. You know, I put my hat on backwards and went out there and rolled around, and they got the crack, and one thing led to another. We just started hanging out, you know, and when we sit in the room, that ate some pizza, then took a shower, you know, kind of get frisky a little bit. And I really didn't see what was wrong with those women. But the men are the one that's out there doing all the killing. But the women, you can't blame the women for something they're not doing. The women ain't really out there doing all the killing. I mean, so how you put the women in the situation? I mean, for me, the women look like they like to have fun and that kind of stuff. I don't know. But I see them boys out there, that's the problem. That's the ones that's out there. But if you ask my personal opinion, my personal opinion is these black women, you know, if put in the right situation, they wouldn't be bad at all. Now I don't know about them black men, because see, you gotta change how you think. Like they say, you know, the hood, you can't take the hood out the person. Y'all see, I know that's another one. You can't take the hood out the person. He go over here, he's still gonna be like that, ain't he? See, you gotta admit that even us racists have come a long way. See, now I can express and kick a joke here and there and tell you some good things about black people. But the bad news is, it's a crazy situation, because we feel like we're winning as far as what you're doing to yourself. So we kind of pull back off of it and just kind of start critiquing you differently. To where now I can kind of show you some good things about yourself, feel so sorry for you. As a community, I show you some good things about yourself because I know what crack did to the community. Besides the killing, crack tore up the black community. I tell you, that's another thing us racists talk about. That crack cocaine, boy. And we got a taste of it ourselves, but we know what it do. So we looked at y'all and we knew exactly what that meant. We seen all these people running them back and forth, running for that crack. It tore your community to pieces. And we know no crack, no cocaine don't come from America. We knew that don't come from America. So you gotta sympathize to a certain degree, but I guess my humanity kind of kicked in. See, we kind of grew as a community after all that was said and done. I kind of grew as a human being. And then, some of us racists were having like some of our white girls and go over there with the black guys, and we was producing some of those mulatto type of children. And that's where I started to change my heart, because that's my blood, But even though I'm a little tipsy, I'm this is the truth now. Like, that's my blood, right? So some of that girl, good-looking young girl, is me. Some of that is me. Now, I couldn't imagine no man jumping on top of a little girl like that. That's why the prophet has my respect. And you know what else won my heart? Them little mulatto girls that we produced over here, which y'all didn't know nothing about. Because, see, our white girls was running out there after that crack. Remember, I'll tell you about that crack. And, hey, you know how pretty white girls look. Hey, you know how they look in the summer. Come on now. And they fresh and they rednecks. Them black boys couldn't resist that. They were fresh and rednecks, and they had they wasn't culture girls like them girls in the culture. No, they was fresh redneck girls. A black man eating that like chicken. Come on now, I ain't say that to be racist. But he eating it like chicken. I see them redneck girls over there and talking real country. You know how we talking rednecks? And she ain't nothing but a redneck girl. You know what he did with that. Come on, you know what he did with it. And at first we get a little mad about it, but you know what? Once them kids come out, we have a whole change of heart how cute them kids are. Because they still fair-skinned a little bit. They still a little fair-skinned. Yeah, they still a little fair-skinned. So, with that being said, they not too dark, where they might have a problem. See, we think about the problems they might have, too, in the schools and in these neighborhoods. We became a little aggressive about over our mulatto children, but unfortunately, I hate to tell you, this is a bad part. You might not like us after that, but we kind of raised them a little racist too, so they don't really. While you think she's a mixed girl, she's kind of worse than the white girls on the crack back in the 80s, and because we raised her up over here, and she ain't gonna be too much going over there. Now she might, but she might not. But she most likely ain't. She most likely ain't. But that's what stole our heart. Once we started getting them little mulatto girls over here, they grew up, and we just loved them. You know what I'm saying? We loved them like our own, and of course, some of these white redneck girls ventured out for drugs, if not for any other reason, for drugs, and they brought back some kids, that had to happen, right? That's reality. So you didn't think about what was happening over here during the whole crack epidemic and all this stuff going on with crack. This is what was happening. Our kids were going out, the young girls going out smoking weed and smoking crack with these black guys. And we kind of changed a little bit. But we still kind of feel, that things are the way they are, if that makes sense to you. We made this country what it is, and look at it for what it is. Ain't nobody else help us to do it as white America, and people don't give us the proper acknowledgement for that. We don't get the proper. Look at it from a man to man. Y'all helped build this country. That's what y'all gonna say. I've been looking online. You're gonna build this country. You helped build this country. But we the ones that came up with what the country gonna look like. We built the buildings. We built all the subways in New York. Who built them subways? All them subways, the black man did not. He was not the architect over that. He didn't build that. The white America built all of New York. Central Park, who you think was the architect of Central Park? It was a white man. He did all that. So even when we look at New York, it still is white America to us. Now imagine someone coming in talking about they built this country, and you the one had the mind to do all that stuff, and all he did was take the materials. You're a real man, right? So you know, going on a website, not a website, a job site, right? You go to a job site and you get all the materials. Is that the guy that built the country? The guy that just gets the scraps and he just putting scrap? That's basically what y'all did. You didn't make the design of the country, the streets, the avenues, the subways. You didn't do all the math behind the subways. It wasn't you. I promise you it wasn't. It was a white man behind all those tunnels and all those tracks, and then you just sit on it like you made all of that. That's what we're talking about. We made all of this stuff that y'all enjoy, and then you turn around and say you built this country. That don't make sense to a man like me. You know darn well, black man didn't even have no money to build the country. So if not for any other reason, he ain't had no money. How he build the country? How he build a country without any money? No, see, I got you right there. Now tell me how he built the country without money. He built the country, but without money. Imagine that. Imagine America coming together without any money. As beautiful as it is and everything, and all this stuff going on and everything. Can you imagine this country coming together without some money, without money? So where did the money come from? So in a real man's world, that you see where I'm going with this, he did basically nothing. We did the money part. What did he do? Well, we know he didn't do the money part, that's for sure. So when you say building per se, then your ancestors built this country. Well, he ain't built it with money, and that's what it took. How you think we got these skyscrapers and tunnels and everything? How you think the Lincoln tunnels and all of this stuff in New York and how you think we get all of this stuff together? Or it just threw up. We just got some trees, some cedar. We got some cedar. We went and got some cedar and got it together. We went and got some cedar and got it all together, didn't we? It took money it took cash money, buddy, to get all of this together. Now think about, put yourself in my shoes. Now am I wrong for feeling that way? I guarantee you, if you were black, if black people built this country, you would be saying, oh yeah, we built this country. And we built it with money. I don't care what them other white people are talking about. You'll be saying the same thing. They say they built this country without a dollar in their pocket. That's how we look at it as a racist. How in the world you say it was built on your backs, but you ain't have no money. You don't want to realize that it's a dog-eat-dog world. It really wasn't about racism. It was about, we just had the upper hand in the history to do you the way we did you. That's really what it was. It wasn't really about racism. We had the upper hand in history at that moment in time. And for us racists, we act like the stars aligned, and we just made a perfect, beautiful country. It wasn't about you being black. We could care less. In fact, like I tell people, it was the African chiefs that put you in slavery. We didn't put you in slavery. No, how we put you in slavery? The Africans put you in slavery, and we took advantage of the slave trade and what they was already doing. We took advantage of it, and see, that's where you see how pure the motives really are. It wasn't racism. Racism wasn't there at that time. No one was thinking about racism. We were thinking about using human beings to produce labor, and we wouldn't have to pay them. And that's how the old world was. Is to save money is to produce slaves. If I have a slave to do the same, all the work, think about it. It's a luxury. It was a luxury of the old world. A luxury of the old world, and I do mean a luxury, where many kings and people had these slaves. You could work this person to death and you didn't pay him a dime. And you didn't have to, and you saved money. You didn't have to pay nobody. That was what racism was slavery was all about. All around the world. It wasn't a matter of racism. That's ridiculous. Think from a man's perspective. This was about, I can work all these people and for free. And I'm gonna have all the money. All of it. It's 100%, it's 100% profit. Now think about it now. I know you are a moral man, right? But think about a world of temptation, and that's a lot of temptation. That I can work hundreds of people, and I'm getting all 100% profit. That's what you wasn't looking at. And you can't say you wouldn't do the same thing. Okay, now don't get sanctimonious. Don't get holier than thou. Because if you look at it on that principle, I as a businessman, I can work all these people and I get all the money. That's all it is. That's all slavery really was. I can get all this money and I ain't paying nobody nothing. And see, it sounds almost like a thug, don't it? See that? See, I've been watching the news. I've been watching TV and everything. That almost sounds like a thug. I'm getting this money. I ain't paying nobody nothing. I ain't paying nobody nothing. That's how we was. We just wanted to work, everyone, and we got all the money. That's all it was. And that's all it was, man. If you take it any further than that, you got to question if you're being mature about the situation. If you're really looking at it from without your head in your butt, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll tell you, it wasn't about racism. I'll tell you that. It was about the material world we live in. How we can just easily work these people over here. And do you see the temptation? And we don't have to pay them nothing. They're gonna do all the good work. That came from the old world. Before we as Americans, there was already slavery in the Bible. Yeah, it was slavery. So we didn't come up with the concept. White man, hold up. Listen to me now. White Americans didn't come up with the concept of slavery. Right or wrong? Okay. So you almost give us the whole blame for slavery as a concept. Like the white man just made up slavery as a concept. Particularly the white Americans. Like we just made up slavery as a concept. Then you can go find it in the Bible. So then what was the concept of slavery in the Bible? The same concept I'm telling you about is that these Egyptians, it was the Egyptians, right? With Moses, it was the Egyptians. He could work, the Pharaoh worked all the slaves for free to build up Egypt. He wasn't paying them people nothing. Think about it. That was the luxury of the old world. You can even see it in the Bible. Now, you come along hundreds and hundreds of years later, and many of you in ignorance blame the white American for the concept of slavery. You blame him for the concept of slavery. But then you go back in the Bible and you see it clearly right there. See, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And some people speak ignorantly and say, well, the white man made slavery. All I'm asking is that you don't speak in ignorance. If you're going to debate me, know what you're doing. Because I'm pretty good. I'm pretty savvy myself. I'm pretty, I might not be a highbrow, but I can get a couple good jabs in, intellectually. I get a couple good jabs in intellectually, I know we didn't make the concept of slavery. Us as white Americans. No, we ain't make the concept. We ain't make that concept of slavery. So then can you stop telling can these people stop saying white men made slavery? Like that's what made me question their level of intellect right there. Well, if you're a well-read person, you see slavery throughout history everywhere. Haiti, it was in Haiti, it's everywhere. It was in the islands, and it was everywhere. It was in Africa. It was everywhere. It was in every continent, as they say. Slavery was in every continent. So can people stop making the worldview where the racist white man made slavery? Or the concept of slavery, that's how it's insinuated. It's like an insinuation. We made it up. We didn't make it up. It was everywhere. And the concept is the same, what I said. The concept is, I can work these people for free. And I can take all the money. And I don't have to pay anyone. And we're going to do so good as a country if we're making 100% profit. Think about it. It's a no-brainer, bro. It's a no-brainer. That's why everyone did it in every continent, because you save all the money. You don't pay no one. And it was the luxury of men that dominated other countries. What they going to do? Get all their men and make them slaves. When they beat other countries, you enslave the people. And then you can work them all, and you ain't got to pay nobody. Now look at that as a concept. Now, don't be holier than thou. Keep in mind, there were slaves even in Africa. Africa the one got you here. Africa the one set up the slave trade and brought you here. Yes, they did. They brought you here. You blamed us, and all we did was take advantage of think about it now. Think about the whole timeline of slavery. And we came along and seen Africans selling slaves. We couldn't resist that. We got big boats. We went back and got boats. We know we had to go back and get boats. I mean, we didn't show up the first time. Neither was there's one time. We went and got boats, came back and got all these slaves, and because they were selling people, and all we have to do is use them to do everything we wanted. That's really the real expression that the white man had, is I'm going to use all these people. And we're going to get this work done. And we're going to build this country. See how you look at it? See how it really was? That it was innocent in that sense, that like everyone else in the world, that we're just going to use these people and we're going to build a great country. You know, other people had slaves and no one thought about it like they think about white American slavery. And everybody else had slavery. But when they look at us, it's like they make it the most demonic action that happened. But we were racist. We began to be condescending, and that's what racism is. And racism is a byproduct of slavery. There was no slavery. There was no racism at first in America. There was slavery, and racism became a byproduct. So we didn't see Africans and just say, they're racist. I mean, they're black, seize them. We didn't do it. We didn't think anything about that. You think we looked at them and hated them because they were black? No, we didn't think about that. They were very voluptuous women and beautiful women and all of that stuff, right? So, what happened is we brought them here, and we started our own culture out of our arrogance and pride of the country. Think about the country we was building. That created the pride that spilled onto them as racism, because we was building this whole beautiful country like no one had before. Remind you, we know all the history of Egypt and Europe, but we got this whole new country, and we did become very arrogant. That's what happened. And that arrogance manifested as racism and control over these people. Once we realized what we had to make sure they didn't get it, or they wouldn't get no ideas of getting it. We was going to make sure they stayed controlled, that they wasn't going to have any of this land. These Africans we brought here, no, you was going to stay a slave. You was going to stay like that. In other words, you was going to stay submitted to us. You wasn't going to come out of that. And that's all we wanted, was people this to be our country, and these people stay working for us. That's all we wanted. We didn't want them to rise up and become like us. I mean, that's not right. We did all this stuff, right? So imagine them becoming like us. Is it fair? Well, they should become like us somewhere else, right? Not here. Not here after all we've done. We shouldn't we no we shouldn't become they shouldn't become that here. This is what we did it here, just like the Chinese did it there. You can't go to China and become greater than the Chinese. You can't go to no you the white man can't go to Africa and become greater than the Africans. We tried to, but we were not successful. We can't go to these other countries. We did a lot of things, but ultimately my point is that in these other countries that's dominated by a certain race, we're not going to have any luck trying to overtake that country, you know, and that's the same thing here. You see, you know, no one wants to say it like it is, but this is a white country. This is not a black country or a Hispanic or Latino country. No, it's not. It's a white country. Just like Chinese, you have no misunderstanding that is a Chinese country. You're not thinking it's a black country. You're not thinking China is black. You're not thinking China is Hispanic or Latino, are you? Well, why is that? Why is that? Because the Chinese dominate that country. It's theirs. And no one is trying to tell them it's not, or that they can come here and do something else. It's not going to happen. And we did the same thing, and we were just more crass about it. And we should have, if we were smart, we should have not used racism. We should have just stood on the fact that we built this whole country. If we would have not been racist, we would have made it. And maybe you would have submitted even more if we wasn't racist, and you probably would have. We would have probably had more power if we wasn't racist towards you, because reality is going to kick in that we the ones that built this country. We made it what this country was. We made money here. We put the money here. And and you would have came to your senses as a man. And you would have realized this. Just like you would have been in China, you would have realized, even though we're here, this Chinese man made this country. We can't take that from here. We can come here and build and everything, but we can't take this from this man. This man built this country. Now imagine me going over there in China and acting like I built that country. He did all of it. I gotta fall in line. And that's the problem we have here. Is America is considered a multiracial country. Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, but I know my ancestors, my white American ancestors, they are the ones that built this country. They the ones put the money where it was supposed to be. They did all this stuff from different countries. Mind you, they were getting these materials from different places, and they were doing all kinds of stuff that the Negroes didn't even know about. We were getting materials from different countries. We was getting materials from all over the world. They had no part in that, and you could think about that. Think about it just from without being biased about it. Let's just look at it from a technical point of view. You know, the white Americans was the ones that doing all the work. No pun intended. Yeah, we did work them, but it was no different concept than slavery all around the world, where these rulers ruled over slaves, and the slaves wasn't even considered. And that's what people don't want to talk about. The slaves were never considered in other societies. It was ludicrous to think that they played any important role. We get here to America, and now the slaves here think they played an important role. You go to any other country, they don't think the slaves there played an important role or something like that. But you come here to America, and now slaves played an important role. You see how it looks when I talk about the slave in that context? The slave played an important role here, but nowhere else in the world did they play really an important role. That's what we're talking about. But here they played an important role as slaves. That's all we're talking about, man. And see, if people just go ahead and give us what we need, you know how people say give you flowers while you're living? If people just give us our flowers while we're living, I might sound a little conceited or narcissistic right there, but all they gotta do is just give us our flowers. All they gotta do is just give us our flowers while we're living. That's all we're asking for, man. Give us our flowers while we're living. Give us our flowers while we're living. We did all this stuff y'all enjoy. All this stuff y'all enjoy. You know, We made all of this. Brooklyn, Harlem, all of this stuff we made. That's all that we are asking, man. Just, being the real, humans should have evolved by now to give us our respect. Come on now. Come on. I know we were racist, but come on now. Give us our respect for all that we made here. We can't get that part. We can't get the respect. Come on now. Let's be a little reasonable here. We made all of this stuff y'all enjoy, and y'all talk about this like y'all neighborhoods. Come on, all we want is for you to realize reality like a man, like a real man in the real world. See, a real man gonna realize another man's work. That's all we asking. Just realize my work as a man. That's all I'm asking. Now, if you understand humanity and history, we all were cruel to each other. All over the world, we were cruel to each other. We're no exception. But let's give us credit. If you enjoy these things, give us credit for the thing. We the ones made the things you enjoy. Give us a little credit for that. All these neighborhoods